Welcome to the Afternoon Rundown, the show where you have your say every day. Obi, he's here. Sean, he's here. They're locked, they're loaded. They're ready to take the votes that you guys cast during the midday show for the top takers. First, we'll start off with a look at the future. Obviously, a bit of a move up on the triple Qs, or the triple Qs, excuse me, up about 0.25%, a little bit higher, a little bit lower than break even. We'll have to see how the day ends up here. But Nvidia, the #1 name as selected by you guys, down today about 1.5%. No real catalyst today coming out of the Nvidia camp, but their shareholder meeting was yesterday. They talked about accelerating some of those projects that they have, but in basically selling off today, possibly in sympathy with Micron that reported last night. Guys, what's your look on the monster Nvidia?
I like that. I like that traders stay late thing there. I like that. I like what we did there. Oh, we have Neil on the bottom. I just saw here. Oh, okay. Oh, you're trying to hide it? It was so fun.
Market recap.
All right, so we're long Nvidia right now again. We just had a nice little bid there off of 124. We've been doing that a couple times. We just took it again right now. As Sharif said, though, down on the day, right? Down 1.6% with a NASDAQ that just right now went for a little bit of a nosedive here, bouncing again. Yeah, I was going to say off 21, but 20,100, but that's not even true. It didn't even get that high. So here we go, right back into the middle. And guess what? If you closed your eyes, Obi, and woke up at 2 o'clock, you wouldn't have thought the market's even open yet. We're right back to right where we opened. So flat. This is the opening print right here. This is where we are right now. So we're still hovering around that 20,000. Look, I mean, we're excited to have a, sort of a shortened week next week here. Obviously, in Canada, we have the holiday, and I was just looking to try to get a trade for next week. Pretty light week. There's really no earnings heading into it. I could see sort of lighter volume today into the close, and then potentially even tomorrow, looking at stocks like GameStop and DJT and things like that, that might be moving here into the close. But what I was going to say about Nvidia is, even though we're dipping back in here for Nvidia, I mean, our daily, unfortunately, you have to really zoom into. Yeah, that might not even work, will it? No. Yep, okay. Even though we got a little bit of a dip in for Nvidia, I still really think the strength in this name is there. So like down into 122, 123. We're playing it right now to see if it gets going into the afternoon again. We've seen it really get going, off some levels, especially if the market wants to retrace back up. I think Nvidia goes. So I'm just going to stay where the volume is. It's still 200 million shares. It's been doing 400 to 500 million shares. For day traders, Nvidia, I think, is something that we're always going to have to watch. So, yeah, I'm excited to continue to trade this name, along with a name that's, for some reason, 5th on that list, Amazon. We've been really trading that one today. So, any Nvidia trades for you today?
No, not really. But I am kind of seeing something peculiar on the chart here. I didn't necessarily have any trades on it, but this 123 level and this 126, we can see that we're in a bit of a range marked off of yesterday's strong action right there. We push up into the close into 126 and change. And look at that. We come in, the opening range high just happens to be right there. It cannot get above that strength that happened at the end of the day. It comes right back into that 123 level. And you scroll back a little bit right here. This 123 has shown up multiple times before as well, kind of being a bit of a area of interest, if you want to call it there. But yeah, holding some of these levels prior day double bottom as well. That 123 on Nvidia should be interesting. That 125 to 123 as of right now. But yeah, it seems like this range as of this morning and yesterday's close is from 126 to 123. So a little bit of consolidative action, it would seem, on Nvidia, going a little sideways today.
Micron reported after the bell yesterday, and they beat on the top and bottom line, but it was really the guide here that sent this one moving to 7% to the downside, and the pre-market recovered a little bit right now, guys, about 6%. Despite that, multiple analyst comments today, mostly to the high side. Piper saying they're maintaining their overweight and a price target of $150. Multiple comments, as I mentioned. What is your look on Micron?
Normally, I mean, this is just cherry picking again, because like we had talked earlier about 132 and how that was a consolidated level yesterday, but I stopped charting these things at 430. So it's not like, I don't know where we've been from there. Just on the chart, it looks half decent. at the end of the day, look how choppy this is off the open, right? You did get a nice hold of the pre-market bottom. So I just always try to think about what would I do next time? You know, Obi and I always talk about that. So does Neil. Like, prepare yourself for the next time this happens. So we traded it on Nvidia today, and we could have showed that to you as well. You always want to try to go long. I feel like on pre-market bottoms, especially on names that you thought could rebound back. I didn't think the Micron quarter was that bad, but what do I know? And apparently it was a back and forth idea early, right? So traders had a hard time figuring this out. Down to 134, up to 137. So here's the pre-market high of 137. There's the pre-market low of 134. So those were both hit within the first 20 minutes. Then we danced around it. So what I'm going to say about learning from next time is basically once you break one of those things again, then maybe that is the trend that starts, right? And so since breaking that pre-market bottom, or at least that first half-hour bottom of 134, it's really been downside. And you could have got a sweet move right back into that 131, 132. So once it breaks that, respecting the 50 period all the way until it breaks, that's where you can get out. And now it looks to me like a trend change. So now I'd almost like to buy this thing down at 133. We're already long Nvidia right now, but Micron, good name, was not on my radar as much, Obi, because again, we hit WBA early with Walgreens, and then Micron performing half of the volatility expected. So we were expecting 13 to 14% on with the options, and we only got 5 or 6 off the open. So yeah, a little bit of a disappointing day for Micron, but I think everyone that's holding this name should be pretty happy that it's just down 5%. It's up 60% for the year.
Yeah, definitely the bigger term trend is very distinct. We were talking about that 138 kind of wick high there in the pre-market. That does almost come in, but then sellers kind of step in and fade it, and it fades all the way back down to some of these pre-market lows. Look at these bars on the 15-minute here, very clean, and then the break of that trend gives you a bit of reversion back to VWAP, right? So the trend breaks in and around 12 o'clock there, and it reverts all the way back to VWAP from a low of 131. So that's absolutely beautiful. They're doing about 1.2, almost, 1.9, so almost 2 RVol there, but holding that these pre-market lows as well, breaking into that trend. I definitely kind of look back at it. I was like, yeah, that's definitely a missed trade on my part. Again, and taker in play with an earnings catalyst, doing a bit of a strong sell where it's holding behavior, and all of a sudden that behavior changes and it breaks. You get that nice little reversion back to VWAP there. But again, if you look at a bigger picture, it is kind of sideways like Nvidia there. Not really getting anywhere, but in terms of opportunity, definitely you have the opening range low break, you have the pre-market low hold, the reversion back to VWAP, and that's about a few points. And this name has been trading some significant volume as well. 50 million, where it normally does 22. So like we said, almost 2 times the relative volume being traded. So definitely a lot of opportunities, but no trades for me on that one.
Just quickly here, I just want to say I'm taking, as a trader, you take advantage of things like this. We just dropped back into the 200 period. I was a little uncertain of buying more here in Nvidia. So then when you get the bump back up to the 50 period, we are taking some out of that one. So alert to that. We'll take 45 cents on a piece here, getting out at 43 cents. And then we'll wait, again, for a higher move. So we'll just take out of 10% of what we have left. This has been a good day for Nvidia, but if the market wants to get going, I really like this stock. And we already liked it at 125. RMBL, Rumble, starting to go right now, apparently. Is this the right one? No, it's RU. Isn't it RUM is Rumble, sorry? Yeah, there it is, Rumble. RUM, I was like, that's not moving, $4. There's Rumble right now, and again, with everyone's favorite event tonight, besides the game at High Park, which thankfully ends at 8 o'clock, where your High Park Jets will once again beat whoever we face. Although we're on a 2-game losing streak. But that's okay, that's okay. That's okay, man. We're ready, we're regrouping. We're in 3rd place.
Yes, sir.
The debate. So I was going to say that's important. Rumble. We again, O Canada Rumble, right down here on King Street.
Main office.
Yeah, I was going to say moving possibly on some of that. So we saw DJT moving around. We'll talk about that in a minute. Then can you believe that roaring kitty move is Chewy on here? No, it's not. So we are going to talk about it at some point.
He tweeted again today.
You tweeted again today. I mean, here we go. Look at. I'm talking about it now, though. 28. Look at this move up to 39.
That was today?
Yeah, man. This is at 1 o'clock. You know what I mean?
Okay. All right.
When you and I are walking around, you know, we're relaxing.
I was in a meeting, but
You're in a meeting. I'm taking whack
okay, what's the
pictures
next
for
trade?
Stadium.
Yeah, damn.
Oh man. I found my thing over there. I gotta take it back. Anyways, okay. Let's go over to the screen again with Sharif, where apparently we'll talk more about Chewy.
This is it right here, Sean. This right here is the reason Chewy went up 35% and then went all the way back down. Yes, Catman, Roaring Kitty, Keith Gill, whatever you want to call him, tweeted this picture on X, and it had Chewy moving, it had Bark moving, it had Woof moving, all of them moved aggressively, but so did GameStop, the one that he's most known for, and it's up, guys, 4 2/3. What's your look on GameStop, Chewy, Bark, or Woof?
Damn. So how's it going, New Neil? You see on the bottom? You see on the bottom? These guys got creative.
Those are big, big shoes to fill.
But the thing is, next week. No, I think it's like size 9. I think that you have to. Next week you'll be sitting here.
Yep.
And then we've got on size 13. You know what I mean? So that's you're gonna have to fill up for that.
All right.
All right. What do you think about Chewy there? I mean, Chewy just went up pretty nice,
right now.
38.39. Shout out to Biggie Smalls, of course.
Yeah, let's take a quick look at Chewy and GME there. So okay, I guess a little bit of a euphoric move on the tweet there. So definitely some volume coming in. Yeah, okay. So this is me looking at it for the first time as well because I wasn't necessarily here in and around 1 o'clock. We had a bit of a floor meeting there, but yeah, so we've been trending on the daily chart with expanding volume, kind of pushing past some of these breaks. We can see some of these earnings reaction highs as well, filling the gap as of a few days. Not really filling the gap, but like going back into prior support, maybe turn resistance is what I'm saying there. And yeah, you get it's interesting when some of these euphoric moves happens. It's pushing up into this prior support, maybe turn to resistance there, and then you go down to a smaller time frame there. Oh boy, look at that expanding volume. All of a sudden, this ticker's doing some crazy moves there. But talk about shorting parabolics or riding parabolics as well. So it gave you opportunities on both sides. That's what I love about certain types of parabolic moves there. It kind of, there's something on the table for everybody, right? So if it's kind of not a real catalyst per se, a lot of the participants more often than not tend to be shorter I guess time frame participants, and you can see that kind of manifest on the chart here. The up move happening within about 12, 15 minutes ish, and then just a slow, steady bleed back down happening over the course of over an hour, right? So it's like, yeah, it's definitely opportunity. I don't know how. Throw it up in the chat if you guys traded this name there. I definitely was not part of any of this, but the whole move kind of happening within the span of an hour and 15 minutes. Still holding some of these highs there. You can see that first little pullback happen in and around 28. That was the opening, the morning session highs as well as yesterday's pre-market, daily lows, and we break prior day lows, weekly highs as well, prior day highs. So pretty euphoric move. Let's see what it does going forward. I think I've missed both sides on this one, a decent chunk of it, so I'm not really going to be looking at this one too much. You got any thoughts on GME?
Yeah, so Chewy just wanted to show us 15% short float, and there was talk. I was trying to find the news story here, but there was talk a couple weeks ago when Ryan Cohen got that payout or whatever, that there was a couple little bit of funding floating around that potentially was going to head into Chewy, and then all of a sudden you get that tweet there today. So as far as this is concerned, yeah, I mean, I just think it's just another one of those tools where if you're playing the news, you just got to be careful. And you know, nothing's changing fundamentally about many of these names. Yeah, I mean, GME I think is just a safer play in general because I don't think you're going to get caught up top. I think we definitely know where GameStop is going, and we already talked about that today when we zoomed this out earlier, and I said 26 is possibly the top. Well, you got 50 more cents out of the name. It's squeezed there. Huge move, huge volume. In that, and I just think when that volume elevates, you do have to take something out. We talked about it earlier. Get something out around 26, right? And so that was hopefully a level that was respected by many of you. There it is right here. So, you know, we talked about that. We talked about that with Rivian. Again, great trading available in GameStop. And I think they're just VWAP buys, right? I mean, you had it down. Was it yesterday? Yeah, in the afternoon, we had these VWAP dip buys at 2 o'clock. It was 23, then 23 again. But now the problem is we're underneath. So then I think you got to look to what's been holding today, and that's been 25 clean. So we're coming into that right now. Also, yesterday's top 25, this is not looking like a horrible idea. I think I'm going to try the long right here on GameStop at 25. So, and we took another piece out here on Nvidia. Let's just see if it wants to, oh, back up here. I'm going to take a piece out right now. Didn't realize we were going up to that level. We'll take a 71 if we can get it. And then we'll see. That's been, there it is, and that's been the top. So now we'll see about a 125 break on Nvidia. And I'm going to put a bid in for GameStop. Oops, GameStop just broke 25, so I don't have to put a bid in it. We were looking for this. Let's see if it retakes 25. I'm going to go long GameStop on a retake of 25.
Good look there, Sean. All right, Tesla next on the list. Today, XPeng CEO throwing cold water on Tesla's rollout of full self-drive there in China. Not really a market-moving headline. What really was interesting today about Tesla was it knocking on the door of 200. It's been a while since we've been up at these levels, guys. What's the look on Tesla?
Tesla, absolutely.
I mean, Tesla was insane earlier on today. I know we talked about that. And just basically, again, what was the other stock we were talking about this morning? Micron. Micron looks almost exactly like this, where it came down, hit some of those pre-market levels again, and then bounced up, and then came back and then went. So again, look at all the volume here in that first 20 minutes, right? Just absolutely monstrous. So yeah, no surprise here for me to see a name like this move like that. But yeah, you know what this reminds me of? The name that we're going to talk about next, and that's Amazon. It just bumped its head right off $200. You know, so we've really liked the look of Tesla here for the last little while. We've talked about this being relatively an opportunity to buy it down here at 175. When we've had protection, we've had support. We also have the 50-period moving average. So yeah, I mean, to say I like the stock would be sort of an understatement here, as I'm just trying to get some more orders out maybe for Nvidia. But yeah, look at that retest 194. Obi, if we're lucky enough to get a 194 take again here today, I think it's a long.
Yeah.
So yeah. Nice battle back. We've seen the pedigree. It can get back up there and be real positive. Let's play the dips into this one, 194 and change. The stock's been trading really well lately.
Yeah, I like that 194 look there, Sean. So kind of interesting that also confluences with that the crazy move we had the day before. Yesterday, if you saw that break of some multi-time frame levels through that 188 level and then pushing up into 194. As you can see, that initial kind of pop of this consolidation happens to be right at that 194, and then we consolidate and we hold and push off of that 194 end of day as well. So coming into today, it seems like that 194 is definitely a good place to look. That was also kind of the area where after hours and pre-market consolidated above as well. You kind of come in for that pre-market low lick grab, and we're off to the races there for an attempted push at that 200. We were talking about when will Tesla get to 200.
Right. Soon.
Finally, it is here. It's definitely volatile there, well, especially yesterday. But today, chopping sideways there in a bit of a range. Maybe we get that leg coming forward or going forward there. But yeah, that 94 definitely looking very, very interesting. I agree with that.
Another one that was knocking on the door of 200, and another one that printed all-time highs today, Amazon right here. And today they announced that they're going to be taking on Temu and Shein. They're going to be looking to open up a competitor app that ships directly from China to North America with the same turnaround time and the same price point. That has this one decidedly up on the day. We've got the Amazonian at the desk. Obi, what's the look on Amazon?
Oh boy, that was a crazy move there. In the middle of the day. But yeah, let's talk about what it's been doing. We kind of see that yesterday it had a very, very strong move. And we were talking about it this morning, how that 195, some peculiar price action and tape happening in and around that 195, right off of the open, kind of potential, I guess, size showing its hand, and that pre-market high as well. Look at that pre-market consolidation, a little bit of a double top high, just above yesterday's high a day after an almost, what was this, 8%? Yeah, it was like, sorry, no, not 8%, 4.3% move that we had on Amazon as of yesterday, and then we hold prior day's highs and then kind of consolidate. So I did have the long here, and then I come back to the desk, and it's all the way up here, 197 halves, and I'm like, oh, I don't have the 195. Why don't I have the 195? I got a little bit tilted, but I managed my risk. I was a little bit of a bad boy, but you know, it worked. It happens to work out there. I took the trade. I was like, all right, well, it's not going to go without me, so I'm going to try to revert it. Bad habit. I got to fix that. But get a little bit in and around 197 halves, and I'm like, this is going to 200, buddy, but it's not going to be clean. And then when it starts to slow down, I really pounded in there, in and around that 199 for a pullback. And then you have reserves happening just underneath the 198. I'm like, all right, well, it's rare that the market forgives bad habits. And I was talking to Sean about this. So if the market is forgiving, I'm just going to take my piece and run. So I saw that distinct action on that 198. Happens to be the low right there for a temporary low. And then it bids back up into that 200. I wasn't there for that. I was like, I'm a little tilted. I have to step away from the desk right now. I don't care if it comes all the way back to VWAP. This is disgusting. I got to get better with that. But now we're consolidating above 198. So this still, like I said this morning, I was like, the way it's moving, this is poised to push towards the 200, and oh boy, did that 200 come in with a high right now of 199.83. So we could still have some spice left in this package here, if going into the end of the day here. So we only have about an hour and 40 minutes left, and we're consolidating near the highs of day on top of that 198. That again saw a little bit of consolidation, a little bit of churn of that volume there. Dips down to 97 halves, bids right back up, and now we're going sideways on this 198. So I think it's a good look. I'm going to continue watching this one to see if it has any more moves there. But this was absolutely euphoric. I think, what was it? Somebody said that some dude bought up like double in his account or something. You can see Josh Brown or something. I don't know who that is, but apparently somebody important enough to push the ticker through all-time highs in a euphoric move. And I'm like, wow, is this a Mag 7 or is this a small cap? I love Parabolics. Got involved a little too early, but a nice little fade off of that move there. Got a little lucky on that one. What do you got going on?
No, we're into a name that we got GameStop.
Okay.
Here we go, man. We said we'd like to take that on the break back up. So we're long GameStop right here at O1, I would say 02. The best it's got to is 20. I'm waiting up here at VWAP 38s. I'm at 39s, actually. So hopefully we get back up into there. That's what I'm going to wait for. And then, of course, our out will be somewhere around 24.50. Again, just respecting this little bottom. We did make a bottom now. So, you know, sometimes you got to wait for the trades to give them to you, like, so they can show their face to you. And this one, I think, might have done it right there. It just gave us 24.85. So, I mean, even right now, it's already 1-to-1. Like, I could just take it all out now and try to reload if it comes back against that bottom right there. But this is GameStop. So let's see if it wants. Okay, see, then that can happen. So let's see if it wants to go, right? And so, well, we'll stay in this one. We're long right now on GameStop. So, all right, that's the rundown. Make sure you check out the dashboard. You can see us live, all of our trades live, both OB and my. Actually, I guess you'd be up there too, probably on that dashboard.
Yeah, I'm up there.
Yeah, good. There it is.
Boom.
OB's positions.
No positions as of right now.
No nays right now. So that's okay. But yeah, anyway, checked it out all day, every day. If you're wondering, like, you know, what our positions are and what we're thinking. You know, the fills and back and forth and whatnot. So that was pretty cool. We should have a trader coming on to join us today. So we'll wait for that. And then once he's here, we'll discuss it with you and introduce him. Coming on live, a new trader that we haven't had before. So, you know what, Apple, So we're up on Apple today. We haven't traded it since the AM. But again, it's just been bouncing off this 213 area. So you can sort of get all this garbage out of here, like we keep on saying, to the downside right there at 212.75. But again, the way it fell here, it scares me to go long. I would rather be long the stronger names, to be honest with you. And right now, Apple's not giving me those vibes. We were really, really getting, you know, really feeling good about our Google trade until this happened, and it broke through 185, but it's a good thing we wind up get out. But again, this is the thing. You're taking the longs, you're getting some out, and then you wind up punching out near that bottom. So you have to be careful here with Google. Again, I thought that was relatively strong. This is going to be a red name here because of that last move. And we first got long at 186. We had dealt with that, but then these were just average in prices before eventually losing it. So Google, again, this could be at a bottom. It's up 0.5%, but look where we're underneath. So I'm actually, on this name, going to flip the script a little bit. What about a short right here, 185-ish, to start around there against this VWAP and that top? So I feel like if the market does lose itself here in the last little bit, we could probably do quite well with this trade. So hard to get the long to work here Then finally it breaks. I think I'm going to sneeze. And then you get that downside move. I still really like Google. I don't necessarily, I'm going to sneeze, want to short names that are at all-time highs.
Bless you.
Okay. I hit the mute, but I don't know, that might have been caught everywhere. All right, so Nvidia and GameStop. GameStop right back to flat now. So let's wait to see what happens.
Yeah, in the chat, Varsha's asking, Obi, can you please share your thoughts on Nike? Yeah, sure, we can take a look at Nike. I know that I've been getting some alerts on Nike. I take a look at my phone at like 4 a.m. and I'm like, ooh, down in the DMs? No, it's just TradingView alerts. So, you know, it's just like, I get TradingView alerts from 4 a.m. to 8 p.m. Absolutely crazy, but I've been getting those Nike alerts as well, and there's definitely a reason why, as it is kind of revisiting some of these, some of the lower end of this bigger picture that I have marked here. So yeah, you can take a quick look at this. Actually, you know what? We'll go down to we'll go to like a weekly here. So you can see that yeah, overall uptrend since I guess forever. Market stocks only go up, but again, strong little pullback off of the push that we had off of 2020 and 2021 there. And these are somewhat of the range lows or some of the support levels here. So all I have is this prior kind of area here. And yeah, I keep getting that alert in and around the 90s, low 90s there. And it is kind of consolidating, trickling up as well. But again, something to note is the bigger picture trend is to the upside, but the more recent 2 or 3 year trend has been a little bit more dominant, kind of pushing back into the lower end of the trend on the higher time frame there. So yeah, this was a COVID drop, nice little push right back up. Solid reversion there, and now we're holding relatively higher lows on that one. So that's what I'm seeing there just on the chart, just off the few candles there. But yeah, in terms of a daily, I don't really have trades on this one as per se. Maybe I'll trade on like an earnings or something like that, maybe a technical area, but definitely an interesting area nonetheless, right above these 90s on Nike there. And yeah, and I saw Adair in the chat saying that, yeah, the Josh Brown pump is real. It is absolutely real. As this craziness that happened, I was like, this is, again, I just want to reiterate, like this normally does not happen on a large cap like this. Again, one of the top constituents, the top 5, right? You got to understand how much dollar volume has to be pushed into the ticker to make it act like a small cap like this. So it's definitely an interesting move there. We attempted to push that 200, and now we're holding that 198 as well. So I'm going to continue watching this one. Let's see if I can take pieces off the consolidation. I'm going to stay a little unbiased there. I'm willing to go both ways. You got to go both ways sometimes. To kind of effectively capture the move while you're waiting for something to happen. And it seems like as of right now, we failed to follow through up into 199.80s is the high. 199.83 I have on my chart is the high of day, and the low of this consolidation 197.5. So I'm going to continue watching this one and see how much more we chop and churn around this. But something to note, we are still holding relatively close to VWAP, above VWAP, and we are in a bit of a multi-day uptrend here. If you take a quick look at the 15-minute chart there, so you can see that we had a bit of a basing out on top of this 182s, and then again some of these lows being at 175. So we've been kind of up, sideways, and then another leg up there, kind of seeing it a little bit more clearly on the weekly chart. You can kind of see how strong this trend has been. Bit of a reversion off of this pullback that we had in 2022. So we've been bidding up off of 100 all the way back up to 200, so over 100% since March of 2023 on Amazon. And we were looking at this name much earlier in the 140s, 150s, and I was like, all right, well, this is potentially poised to kind of push towards these prior highs if it can come. We talk about and we read about symmetrical V-shaped recoveries on higher time frames when you look back at charts, historical charts, and this is a beautiful textbook example of that kind of pattern there. And I know other tickers have also had a very similar pattern like this. If you take a look at Meta on the weekly, very similar, nice, very strong V-shaped recovery. And another ticker that's doing this as of right now is Netflix. So let's take a quick look at Netflix right there. Look at that beautiful V-shape, again, off of the sells that came in off the euphoria in 2020, 2021. 22, some of them, but a V-shaped recovery, somewhat symmetrical nonetheless. And Netflix is actually about to test these all-time highs. So yeah, you can, if you take a look at Meta, you can see that it's kind of far gone. It did push off those previous highs and kind of accelerated to the upside. Amazon is starting to do a little bit more of the same there. So something I want to point out on these tickers here. So that's what I got going on right now. No real trades. I am kind of tempted to take some on this Amazon as of right now, but I'll stay a little bit more patient, waiting for the next trade. Spider is about to break low a day. You can see that, and ES as well. ES just broke intraday low, but pre-market Globex session trend has also broken as well as of what is this? In and around 11 o'clock. I have 10 here, but this chart is usually an hour behind. But yeah, Spider breaking low a day there. Softy attempting for a break of low a day. Nvidia going sideways. Amazon holding in its upper quartile. Alphabet going sideways. Apple going sideways as well. So I don't really have too much on watch. Oh boy, as I'm looking at my charts, look at SMCI. This is the ticker we need to be long, Sean. This is absolutely crazy here. So SMCI all day. Let's go down to a shorter time frame. All day, look at this bid. Look at this trend that's been happening to the upside. Can't stop, won't stop on SMCI. So yeah, definitely, I got to keep a watch on these. Some of these this tech sector basket that I have on my other screen here. Some crazy moves. So that also reminds me, ARM is probably doing something similar. Yeah, ARM near higher days, holding above prior day consolidation. So decent opportunities nonetheless. Let us know if you guys have traded any of these tickers, especially SMCI. I'm curious to know if any of you have traded SMCI on the day. Talk about a solid trend. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, Obi. Yeah, a lot of people traded it. So, all right. Again, a great name there, SMCI. We know we like that one. All right. I mean, I moved my GameStop to 30 instead of 40. I mean, the 50 period's coming in. We got as high as 25. I didn't take it out. I mean, it's 25 cents worth of a victory there. We could have done that because that would have given us about 1.5 to 2 to 1 on our risk down there to 85. But we're going to try to let this one go just a little bit. And we do have a new position alert. I mean, we didn't get much of a fill. We're gonna have to wait for it to print down a little bit. We're short Google. So I wanted to be short this name. I mean, let's see. We're also long Nvidia. We took some more out. Let's go. I mean, my net's going up here because Nvidia's going and Google's not moving. So the NASDAQ's still under the 50, under VWAP. We like this kind of a setup right now for sure. Flat on the day. You just mentioned the ES near or at the lows. Looks like like you mentioned, at the lows as well. So you're not getting too much help from the broader market today. And I like the possibility here for Google to make lower moves here. So we'll wait. We do have some bids down here in the 50s, and hopefully we can break that. And then we will see. I got to get rid of that little candle there. We were already back down into here, right off the open, 183, 184. So why can we not get back into that level? I think we can. But look what's happening right now. We would be foolish. Once again, we've already been out once here. Let's be out twice if we can. Sold. No, it fades away from me. I'm just going to punch out to the downside there. We'll punch out and just get whatever we got filled out there. 67s there as it just came right back up. Again, buying off here and getting out. And then I have no more offers. Like I have one at 125. Okay, maybe we shouldn't now. Look at that stacked offer now getting taken out here on Nvidia. Let's put that other offer now at 125. Because if we get back, okay, now we're starting to go. Let's go. Hit the sirens one more time. Come on, GameStop. GameStop's back down to 25 and not doing anything. So that's kind of sucky. But right now it is Google trying to go. It is Nvidia actually going. So this right now is 70 cents in the money. So let's see if that goes. Let's hope it does. Our GameStop, like I said, we are not getting GameStop out yet. 25.50, 24.50, sorry, will be my out. And I am waiting for 24.75 or so for a downside move. You will be getting Sharif tonight on the market recap show. So that should be a lot of fun. So join Sharif and Adair tonight on the market recap show. I'm not here and Neil is not here. Okay, so that's it. All right, nice move up to 125. You know where we're waiting? 124.95. And that's where we're going to wait. So hopefully we get back up to that side now for Nvidia. It's starting to go. What is crypto doing? Ooh la la, 62. We like crypto right now. So let's go over and check out some Coinbase. 225. That is interesting because I was didn't think Coinbase wanted to do that today, but wow, nice move over the last couple of days. Look at this, straight to the upside. So I think we know where the winners are going to be now in the space. I mean, if crypto ever dips again, like you just got right here at 210, up basically $15, and all that happened with Bitcoin was a bump up of about, I guess, 2,000, but from 60, I mean, whatever, we got maybe, what did you get, 59 and change? But 60 back up to 62 gave Coinbase this kind of a move. So let's think about that. We are still under the 50-period moving average, but again, real close to that, man. That break looks pretty nice to me there on Coinbase. So let's pay attention, see if we get like a 230 break long maybe next week for Coinbase. And then didn't we get some real good news about Hut 8 today? I believe it was an inclusion into some sort of Russell 3 million? Yeah, I mean, there's so many stocks these days, right? I mean, everyone can be included everywhere. This is what happens when you get included, and people are like, yay! And then they're like, wait a second, that doesn't change your valuation at all. And then it goes right back into the downside. So celebrated name, Hut 8 at one point and all the way back down. But it's been quite a nice move for this company off the bottom as well. So again, they did reverse split. We had talked about that all the way back up now, though. So good little move right now. Nvidia falling back in, Google kind of flat, GameStop right back into here now. 24.90 we're now long. We're gonna have to put something above 25 now. We're gonna get out if this goes too much lower. I don't even want to hold this back into 50s. So that's where we'd held last time. Let's see what happens right now with GameStop. Nvidia, good couple outs there. GameStop and Google trying to work lower now. Just about a dime in the money, but we need more than that.
Yeah, I know. I see people talking about it in the chat. I already had it pulled up because I was looking at my AI basket here, chip basket. And yeah, AMD through high a day as of right now. So we had a strong consolidation in the morning session that lasted over an hour just underneath this 159.50 level. And as of right now, look at that volume pushing into that 160 break. So I definitely didn't see what that 160 looked like on the tape because I just pulled it up. But we are kind of holding and pulling back as of right now through that high a day. But take a look at this. Looking left here, just yesterday, this little bit of an opening session consolidation. Prior day as well. Can't really get through that 60 too well. You attempt it yesterday, but you consolidate for again over an hour, it would seem. Yeah, over an hour, you consolidate just in and around that 160, 160.20s being the highs of this consolidation, and you come right back in. And that area, that level happens to be high of day right now on that attempt to push right back up. But it seems like over the past couple of days, whenever it has gotten into this 160 area on a strong bid, we have kind of sold off of there. So we kind of did a little bit more of the same here. Again, looking a little distinctly different than some of these other tickers as of right now, as not a lot of things are pushing their high of days. So AMD, definitely a good look. I don't really see too much of anything right here other than a potential failure to follow through and getting involved with some of these sellers that have been showing up for the past couple of days in and around or just above this 160 level. You can see that strong volume happening as well. So the question I ask is that a little capitulatory, or are we just going to continue the move here because we have kind of built up some of that pressure here? This move is a little strong in terms of testing that 160. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to see if we kind of pull back in and consolidate on top of this morning session range here at that 159 halves. We're kind of attempting to do that right now, but this is just a 3-minute chart. I'll have to give it more time to do that. And I think people in the chat were asking, can you take a look at Chipotle as well? So CMG looking like a little bit of a sell-off here. So yeah, we were talking about this earlier. Yeah, going into the split, we did have a bit of a run up, but we kind of faded off earlier on last week, middle of last week, and then kind of continuing that fade as we couldn't necessarily get back above this 66 level. But yeah, this has been split, was it 50-1? So we were talking about this morning. I was like, why didn't they split for the longest time? This was a $3,000 ticker, and now they're $60, and now sure there's potential speculation as to why that may have happened. People were, so I think some of the, I don't know how true it is, but like one of the ones I liked was like they didn't want to get any short sellers involved in the ticker because of the high price. It kind of wards off players. I was like, I don't know about that, but definitely some strong selling coming in on day 2 post split here on CMG. Maybe people expecting some sort of move post-split, that not really happening, and strong, distinct flush back to the downside here, but still holding relatively higher lows if you do look back at earnings, right? So earnings consolidation all the way up from, again, these are split adjusted prices, 56s, 57s. We've held a low at 60. We've held a low at 61.5. And now we're attempting to hold this 62 as well. So it's getting a little tighter there, but we did reject off this 70 attempt just going into that split as well. So interesting look nonetheless. Now another one that is going to split soon enough, I think it was the 16th or the 18th, I think it's the 18th of this month, AVGO, another one. So another name, definitely part of the tech basket there, the AI basket as well. Broadcom, a bit of a sideways consolidation, but you can see the reaction that it had off of earnings, and we've pretty much, we extended above that. We pretty much gave up half of the move, about 50% of this reaction that AVGO had off of earnings. So I guess that's kind of I went on a bit of a tangent there, but yeah, AMD taking a little bit of a pullback there. We were talking about it coming back into these prior highs, and it's doing just exactly that as of right now. 198's just under on Amazon, so I'm going to be looking for VWAP. I'll be looking for that 197.5 here. I was not here for that 200 attempt fail break of this strong trend as well. Had some here, but I definitely have to re-engage here. But we are making relatively lower highs, but overall bigger picture on the day, higher lows, and now consolidating above VWAP, above 197.5. So I don't want to fight that bigger picture trend. But ES, Spider, day lows, NQ, not as much. We're still chopping and churning this 20,000 mark, which definitely, I keep mentioning this over and over again. The 20,000 seems interesting as we keep on orbiting and magneting to that level and kind of washing it around. So 20,000, maybe we're kind of, maybe it's an interesting level to somebody, but price action is definitely showing that that it's being churned. So
just right here, shares of CNI, which is Canadian National Rail. Apparently there was like a train derailment in, I don't know, in Madison, Illinois. I don't know enough about it to worry too much about this, but yeah, downside move right here. So if you are trading in shares of CNI, you know, nice downside move, like real nice, obviously, but it's news based. So you're just gonna have to, I would think, wait a minute, because I don't know anything about loss of life, or you know what products were on there, or if that is indeed anything. So nice move to the down, hopefully an empty one that didn't do anything. So nice move down in, but again, just CNI right now, just on news. So that's the daily chart. This is what's happening right now. It was sleeping before this. Now all of a sudden, tons of volume coming through. So just watch out there. It's not like anything specific to rail, just specific to the name. So CNI here, Canadian National Railway, downside. So just another name to look at on news. So that's one there for CNI. All right, what's been working? I mean, considering the market is falling, I thought Google would have been falling more than this. There's a 61 fill or 62 fill, so 15 cents. Like I said, a 10 cents, 15 cents, trying to get into that. It's probably not. The other name that I was thinking about before all this, of course, was Apple. And I was like, oh, you know what? I don't mind grabbing Apple short. And that's kind of would have been the same thing. We were waiting for a little bit higher for Apple. But again, if we had shorted 50s, at least we'd be down in the 30s now, which would be 20 cents. So hopefully we can expect that from Google, as it's just hovering around doing nothing. So maybe a retracement back to this level. Again, as a trader, it's like we're looking for opportunities here. It's just 245 into what's going to be, in my estimation, I mean, unless we get some sort of breaking news somewhere, probably a pretty slow afternoon. We can always look at DJT. But you know what we said earlier this morning? Remember at 9:30? When you said, what's that saying again, where it's buy the rumor, sell the news? And I mean, I said that I would equate today's today's debate as like a conference, like a company, like, you know, DJT, that's, you know, Donald Trump. So he's going to be advertising himself there tonight. Tonight's the big night. And look at the run up you had into it. We all knew it was coming this week. So you go from last week, $26, all the way to 40 and change. There's your move. You know, it's like Apple. Apple runs to 220, right? Days after its event, fades right back down in, right? I mean, that's going to be more market related than a DJT. But today, this is that. And then I would say tomorrow, now. I mean, if you're trading it now into the close, I don't really, maybe you're just trying to position for tomorrow. But if by any chance, you know how they always rate, I guess it depends on which news source you hear from, but they'll always rate kind of how each participant did in the debate, you know, like, oh, I believe he handled this question better than that, and then back and forth. So maybe tomorrow, if the conservatives have a great night, maybe DJT rallies. But I don't want to, that's like, why are we trading on ifs and buts? You know, you don't need to do stuff like that. So, all right, the other name that we'll look at there, let's check out Walgreens Boots Alliance. Look at this name, really, really sleepy early. So there's Walgreens. We take advantage of that late, really crushed it to the downside. That's 12. I mean, we didn't get it early. It was SSR, just fading out. We could have had it right off the jump, but we were waiting for 13. So we missed that by, we were waiting for VWAP, first of all, and 13. We missed that by 20 cents. And then it just went right down into the downside there. And we got out at 81s before eventually getting over our last 10% upside. Get down, Google. Like, honestly, it's starting to bother me. Maybe it's not going down. And then we got out there at 12. And then look at this, retracement right back to VWAP again. And then now we just kind of go sleepy time. You do have this size there, right? And so remember, when a stock is down 25%, more than 10% is the idea, you get this little SSR problem. So this can't actually get hit to this side. It's going to have to keep chasing it down. So this could be somebody that's long, 70s or somewhere down there, just trying to get this out. But until, someone decides to market it out or pay this price, then it'll probably just keep on following it down. But the thing about this is, and we're going to get to our guest in a minute, this is just changing, like it's dropping 10,000 shares and coming right back. See, there it goes again. So someone's just trying to there it goes. They're just adding now 10,000 shares to it, back and forth again. They're just trying to influence the price. So not necessarily anything to be too worried about there. And then again, here it is right here. Canadian National, look at that bump right back up. So we just brought this news to you of CNI with that train derailment all the way down here. And this is why we're like, no, you got to wait to see what's up, because there's the move all the way back. So remember, people panic sell thinking that, okay, where's the insurance going to come from? Was there a loss of life? What were they transporting? Because I remember there was a huge oil spill in Quebec, and that caused huge damage, and then you're paying for it, right? You're paying those bills for the cleanup and whatnot. Okay, if we are ready, we can bring on our trader guest of the day for today. So whenever we are ready. There he is. Hey, Ryan, how are you? I like that shirt.
Hey, I was gonna say I didn't call you this morning, but good choice on your shirt color as well, Sean.
Thank you. This is the Italian blue, so that's what we're doing here today. But let's introduce you, Ryan Faloona from Benzinga. So why don't we go over a little bit of maybe your trading history, what you're doing maybe right now with Benzinga, and we'll start from there, Ryan.
Okay, perfect. So we're going to start off with the history, and I'll kind of bleed into what we're doing, and we'll finish off with what we're looking at today. How does that sound? As far as history goes, I'm just a regular guy, right? I've worked in a couple of crummy jobs before. I have a degree in business with a concentration in management. And the stock market was just something that interested me from the very first time I saw Wall Street. So although I made it all the way through college, I'm self-taught when it comes to market dynamics and things like that. And so I actually was a customer of Benzinga Pro for 5 years as I was going through my own trading experience prior to working here. I specialize in computers. I've been building computers since I was 13 years old. So I'm really good at helping people overcome challenges with computers. That makes me an ideal candidate for a support role. And on a platform that I use and love, it was just kind of a natural fit. So that's kind of who I am. It led me here to Benzinga, and I'm given an opportunity to improve the platform that I use on a daily basis.
Great. Yeah, we've been using Benzinga for a minute and showing the Benzinga Pro platform as well. But just quickly right here, let's go. This is something that we do on the show. Come over to my screen quickly, Ramin, and it's a banger right here. Let's see what happens with GameStop. I don't know if this is a name that you're trading, Ryan, but we averaged back into that basically the opening range into 24.50. Nice little move back upside. Let's see if GameStop wants to go. Just trying to scalp this name away. But thanks for that introduction. I like that you're just an average guy. I feel like that's what most of us are, leading us into what we're doing here on a prop floor. So you ever traded prop before?
Yeah, actually, I do that right now. We actually have a sponsor of our live trading show that runs in the morning, and I use that prop firm to trade.
Right.
I trade the prop firm. I trade my own account. I don't know what else to tell you. I'm addicted to the market. So yeah, any opportunity I get, I'm going to take that.
You're addicted to the markets. Hey, I have no idea what that feels like. Okay, so yeah, so anyways, no, but thanks for coming on, and let's go break over some trades. I mean, did you have anything on today? The note that I have is that you like stocks, maybe sub $50 into that range, and then, maybe more smaller cap names with catalysts, movements, anything like that. So today we traded Walgreens early. That might have been on your radar. Only a $12 name. That Altimmune started moving around earlier today as well. I think we have the ability to share your screens also if that was something that you wanted to throw down too. So yeah, let's go. Was there any ideas that you were into early today, or maybe something that you're still in?
Yeah, absolutely. And I've actually got a few future ideas, stuff for we can actually watch going forward here. So I'm just going to start with Walgreens. As someone that was born and raised in Chicago, we're well aware of Walgreens. We've used Walgreens thousands of times. Really sad to see what's going on there in terms of the stock price. We actually had a question this morning on live trading on is it going to bounce? And we were kind of reading through the news, courtesy of Benzinga Pro, of course. And we were like, I don't know. It kind of sounds like bankruptcy's on the horizon here. None of it really sounded good. Really haven't seen much of a bounce in Walgreens. Didn't trade that here today. But there were two trades that we did do here today that I really quickly want to talk about. We're going to start with the most recent one, and that's going to be Chewy. I don't know if you guys traded this. I was in some meetings this afternoon, so I didn't see what you guys were trading. But I'll tell you what, we got a guy named Roaring Kitty tweets a picture of a cartoon dog, and the stock goes absolutely buck wild. So this is one of the things that we were trading. Now, this is interesting because this has actually been on my radar. I recently closed out a swing trade. I actually scaled out of a swing trade. I used the July 22.5 calls post the earnings print here on Chewy. Now, this big green candle on the biggest volume stick that you've seen, I think, in like almost 2 years here, this really changed things for Chewy. This popped us above a bunch of different moving averages. The stock remained strong. Anytime the stock dipped, it got bought. So I was actually swinging this, and I closed this just a couple of days ago, around 25 as I scaled out. Oh my God, can I please get some of my calls back? Because this thing actually, I think, printed close to 40 here today. So the one thing I wanted to mention here about Chewy, if we take a look inside, we can see exactly what this did. This traded almost up 240. The one thing that I really wanted to mention here, especially, or as far as Benzinga Pro goes, obviously, we're going to cover all the serious news. We're going to cover what comes out of the Fed. We're going to cover what comes out of the White House. We're going to cover what those data points are, whether it's CPI, PPI, home sales, you name it. You're going to get all that data in Pro. But we're also going to cover some of this meme stonk stuff, if you will. When we see that Roaring Kitty is tweeting pictures of dogs, and that can be related to Chewy, you're going to get that type of news in the news feed. So I was actually on a presentation, had no idea any of this stuff was going. Saw it come across the wire here in the newsfeed, and I was like, oh, here we go. Wish I had some of my calls back for that. Yeah. Chewy, this to me, definitely going to be on deck for tomorrow, even if it's just for a short-term day trade. So Chewy, huge spike here. This has actually been a great swing trade recently. Now, I do have a day trade here for you today, though. We're going to go ahead and switch over to MLGO. Did you guys trade this at all?
We've been trading that the last couple of days. We didn't really look at it too much here today. For myself, I prefer sort of the bigger cap names right here, and we just actually got some out of Nvidia just popping back up to 125. But what is it? MLGO, isn't it? Let's go have a quick look at Micro Algo. Yeah, $19. This was a name that was halting back and forth for many moves last couple days there. What a nice move back from $4 up to 21. Looks like it still wants to go up 15% today. Let me see, what did this do early? Yeah, so again, gets going. What kind of scanners do you look for when this is here? Do you look for some sort of pre-market volume in this? Because this name really picked up, halted just once, and then right back down into the downside. So what an aggressive name. 25.50 today, Ryan. That's a big move.
Yeah, huge move, and you're exactly on it. Where's Obi? Let's talk about some RVol, okay? How about that? I actually use two different scanners here in Benzinga Pro. The first one that I'll actually flip over to that here. Here's my main workspace. This is a traditional real-time scanner that you folks are all familiar with. The crux of this scan, by the way, if you want my scan, I know you guys use Pro. If you want my scan filters, here they are. This is basically using an intraday relative volume measure to alert to anything that might be unusual, right? So it's very, very simple. We are not splitting the atom here. I've got a liquidity filter. Volume has to be at least 600K, right? If I'm going to day trade something, I got to be able to get in and get out. Simple as can be. The next filter I have here, change percent, rolling 1 minute. I'm scanning for things that are going up by 0.2%. I'm a long bias trader. What can I say? I'm generally looking for things that are trading to the upside. This here is looking at the past 1 minute time frame only and is giving me things that are starting to trade to the upside. And then the crux of this entire scan, intraday relative volume, RVol 5M30D, looking at a rolling 5-minute window and comparing it to the 30-day average of the same 5-minute window. So it doesn't matter if you watch this at lunchtime or around the open, you're going to get a really good reading here. MLGO is a great example of how we picked this up. MLGO actually did have a piece of news going back to last week. That actually might be the most interesting thing here. You had mentioned this is kind of a momentum name. We actually scroll back in Pro to the newsfeed. You can see after hours on Thursday last week, we actually had a Form SC13G filing here showing a passive stake being taken. I don't want to botch the gentleman's name, so I'm going to try and pull it up here. It's hanging a little bit here. In any case, there was an insider took a stake here. This always happens when I share on Zoom, by the way. I'm sorry about that.
It's okay.
There was an insider that took a stake, and the interesting part about this is it didn't do anything on Friday. It actually traded down on Friday after that news report, and then on Monday, almost as if people just kind of digested what that meant, this thing absolutely took off. Now, you mentioned pre-market there. Really quickly, I wanted to mention how we first spotted this. I actually use another scanner here in Pro. It's called the Movers Scanner, and I have this designed for pre-market moves. I'm basically just looking for things that are trading up in the pre-market across the pre-market session. I have the same liquidity filter there with volume. I don't like trading actual penny stocks that are under $1, so I filter that out as well. And what this is effectively your best gap finding tool anywhere. You guys have a better one? I'd love to hear it. I'll wait on that because I don't think you're going to find one. This is always going to show me the stocks that are gapping up. If I want to see the stocks that are gapping down, I simply click on losers. And what I do in here, you can see I have a VWAP overlaid on this chart. You were just talking about an anchored VWAP there. I use this all the time, right? If we get one of these stocks that's super extended from the VWAP to the upside, perhaps there's a potential short there. If it bases and builds beneath the VWAP and starts curling up, we might have another day trade right back up to the VWAP. So I get my short list ready using the Movers Scanner, just a couple of clicks of a mouse. When the market actually opens, I use a full-blown real-time scanner to scan for relative volume.
What's going on, Ryan? I really like that you mentioned that RVol. I really like that indicator as well. I definitely once I started looking at RVol a little bit more, my trades definitely cleaned up a little more. I was like, all right, these are the tickers that are in play. So I have a question for you. What's your cutoff for your RVol to take the trade? I know some traders like to use 3x RVol, 5x RVol. So and is there anything else that you confluence with the RVol to kind of tell you that this ticker is the one I want to look for opportunities on the day?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So I actually don't have a specific value that I look for. The value that I filter on is a minimum of 300%. So I guess that's going to be your filter there. It has to be trading at least 300% the average volume for me to be interested in it. Furthermore, once we identify that, I'll definitely use the VWAP For short, fast trades, I find that the VWAP is extremely helpful in that setting. But the other thing that I'm really, really looking for is going to be expanding volume. And with expanding volume, I don't necessarily need a scanner for that. I can actually do that right from the chart. When I see the volume sticks start to expand in each consecutive 1 minute window, and it's got a high relative volume, we're in pretty good shape for a trade here. If this thing busts through or above the VWAP, giddy up, we probably have an even better move on our hands.
Giddy up. I like that. You know what, Ryan, the one thing that I got to give you some credit for, if not all of your analysis right there with the Benzinga Pro platform. Thank you for going over some of that is your passion, right? And I think that we could sit here and talk about stocks and look at charts probably literally until we're not only blue in the face, but blue in the shirt. But, at the end of the day, it's sitting in front of a computer, right? And being able to look at a stock and just having the time and energy to be there every day. And I know you were saying you're in meetings, but the idea is that you're always looking, you're always there, right? And I think that that's something that nothing beats like a chip in a chair when they're talking about poker. Nothing beats actually sitting in front of a screen, talking trades, taking trades, and working your way through them. And I want to thank you for going over many, many different ideas right there. All right, we're going to have you back as many times as possible. So that's one thing. Is there anything, a trade, you just talked about Chewy. Is there maybe anything else that you're lining up? I mean, for me, I actually put a trade out, and you tell me what you think about this one. And I'll call it up on my program right here. Sure. I'll give you a second. Why don't you load up some Roblox for me, okay? I don't know if you have kids or not, but I sure do. And today I got a little warning in my email that said, oh, your Roblox just got added to your account again because the monthly Roblox subscription keeps on hitting for my kids. But I'm thinking with summertime coming up right now, it's my trade of the week heading into next week. It looks like we might have based out a little bit. We're above the 50-period moving average here on Roblox. Kids are done school, and I'm guessing in front of screens. And if they're in front of screens, they're definitely in front of Roblox. I like this for a nice little upside move. Feel like daily active users will be going to the upside. We just breaking the 200-period moving average, which I really like. So I say get this garbage out of here and let's get back up to the upside. My target for midsummer is up here. It's $45. It's Roblox, and it's fantastic. Don't tell me you like the short.
I don't like the short here. So number one, okay, I don't have kids. But
congratulations.
I've got a secret special way for you to check on Roblox. This is actually a stock that I've been watching because one of the indicators I use for Roblox is going to be, what is it like at Costco? Sorry, I pulled it up in a different window that I had up here. What does it look like at Costco? I don't know if you've ever noticed this. Costco will often sell Roblox gift cards right there in the store. Right. And when I go on the weekend, there is generally a gaggle of kids around this particular display in the store. And I judge Roblox's bullishness or bearishness based on the interest it seems to be garnering from those kids.
I like those channel checks.
So like the channel check. So with this being the summer, I think this is an opportune time. Looking at the chart here on Roblox, I think your target of 45 is actually spot on. I think if we take out some of these moving averages and we continue to move higher, you might actually have that juice here. I like that the RSI is still kind of in no man's land. We're not overcooked already, so you should have some room here to the upside. One of the things that I really like that I'm going to be looking for here today, where does this candle close? When I'm talking about a swing trade, one of the things that I've kind of got from our community and has really been working here today, or excuse me, this year, has been how does the stock do around its 200-day moving average? So here you go on my chart here. This dark blue line is going to represent that 200-day moving averages. I'll tell you what, we get 3 closes above this. We probably are going to go higher here. We'll see what happens at that 500-day. I've got that at 37.64 here. So if we are able to break these, we're able to kind of settle above that 200-day. I think your 45 target is doable in short order.
All right, well, Ryan, with that kind of a response and that kind of an agreement, you are welcome back, of course, anytime. So that's Ryan Faloona. Thank you so much for joining us here again from Benzinga. Where can everyone find you?
You can find me anywhere in the Benzinga ecosystem. So if you are already a subscriber of Pro, great. I'm sure you're doing well. I'm available in the chat. I do a happy hour call at the end of the day every day. You can also find me on Benzinga's YouTube channel every morning. We do a live trading show from about 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern, right after pre-market prep. We'll get you set for the day there. But I want to see you in Pro. I want to see you as part of our community here. We're running a sale on Pro for July 4th, so be sure to check it out.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Ryan Faloona. We will definitely check that out. Thank you for your time and your great insights. That's Ryan. Take care, my friend. Ciao.
Thanks.
It's good to know that definitely there are other people out there that are using that RVOL and
I like that
some of
question,
those
Obi.
other indicators. Yeah.
You're trying to take my job over here. We really like having Obi here. Again, thanks for being, again, a part of our team. I think you first have been on air, what, 2 hours ago? Or 2 hours, 2 years ago?
So my time on the floor will be 2 years as of August. And I think I joined I started doing the show, I think it was a few months after.
Right.
It was interesting. Yeah, it was just like, yeah.
We knew the talent, like, as soon as we saw you, we're like, this guy needs to be here. Well, thanks, Obi, for all that.
Thanks for
Great question
me.
there.
It's been a great time.
It's been a minute, huh? All right, well, while that's been happening, let's go. Let's see if we can get diamonds bigger than heads. What? Okay, GameStop, all right. Darn you, Ryan, we missed that. But look at this. So nice average in right now. We're 40, 50 cents in the money. We were much more than that, and I probably would have taken this if I had been here. That's just an excuse because, you know, you got to put the trades on. If you don't have the offer there, I don't have the offer. But yeah, nice move back up to 30. We canceled our 30, remember? We did have it there. We canceled it on this breakdown. Just didn't want to get overfilled if we did rip back up, but a missed opportunity there. But GameStop, we're in the pocket. It's a positive name. Hard enough to make money some days. You gotta, even if it's just a little bit, we gotta celebrate some of those wins, and let's just see if it could keep on going back up there to the upside. Okay, and in a potential disaster trade of your afternoon or of my afternoon, it will be Google. So right now, Google is getting real close to that top, man. And Ryan, I was talking about the 200-period moving average. He mentioned that as well. So that's something to look for on the daily. We're nowhere near that on Google as it continues its high side push. And this is why I feel most nervous and why I'm starting to get some out here on VWAP as we come back in. We're only short right here at 05. So this is getting a little better. We're saving a little bit of money here on this pullback down. But you want to trade with the trend. And I love your RVOL question about looking for opportunities. Yeah. But I think especially as we head into the afternoon right now, I don't know if we want to be short strong names and long weak names. I just, you know, we could have a little bit of a settling down. We do have those imbalances coming at 350. But for right now, it's giddy up. And let's see if Google can make its way back to the downside. That would be very, very good if that were to come through for me right now.
Yeah, I'm just kind of, I was watching this Amazon 198 while we were talking to Ryan there, and it's holding this 197 halves, and we're making higher lows. And again, we talk about, like, again, just like you said, something I need to get better at is getting long strong stocks and getting short weak stocks, and not really trying to revert the trend all the time. But yeah, sure, reversion is my friend sometimes, but like I've said before, sometimes the reversion can be pretty mean, and I do have to respect that. Not always looking for that mean reversion, but that 198 holding as of right now above VWAP, consolidating, and shorts have been kind of winning off of that 200 rejection. So I always talk about, like, who is offside, who can potentially be offside, and the market is trading above that 20,000. We bounced off of it quite aggressively, and we're holding and consolidating above that 198. Here comes 198.30s as of right now. So let's see if we can kind of come in and clip some of these prior highs there. You can see the absolute crazy strength that, what was the dude's name?
Roaring Kitty?
No. The guy who was like, oh, I bought this. I don't know.
Josh Brown.
Josh Brown. Okay, I got to go home and look up who this guy is, because clearly he's somebody.
He's just a guy.
He's clearly somebody.
He pumps his own stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, it doesn't everybody, but, like, you know.
We investigate some, we give credit to others. It's actually
exactly.
A joke, actually.
If you sit in the house, nobody asks questions.
Right.
But if you sit at home and post memes, then you're getting all the heat. So, you know, it is what it is, the system. But you know what? We're just here to trade, and let's see who becomes offside off of this. Yeah, sure. We've been making lower highs off of the 200 test on this, but making higher lows relatively above VWAP. Now testing 198.30. 30s. Let's see if we can, again, same question I asked. Can you print the quarter? Can you hold the quarter? Can you push into the half? That's what I like to see. Right now, as of right now, we're holding the quarter above 198. We're attempting to push the half. The half would still technically be a lower high, but again, with the NQs pushing up as well. And then Spider, we were talking about ES making fresh lows on the day, coming right back in. So a bit of a chop and churn range. Nonetheless, but again, it's got room to go to the higher end of the range here if we're looking at ES, and then the NQ as well. Kind of let's see what happens when we come into this 2065, 20,065, 20,066 mark here with this strength. You can see that strength that did come in off of this dip here, off of 19,960s. We are testing the half right now, so now the question becomes for the next leg: can we print the half and hold the half for a push to 75? So I like to work with the quarters there. Just a little something that I like to do. Now, always doesn't necessarily work well most of the time, but again, when it does, when we have strong momentum, that's kind of what I like to see here. So let's see what we get. Can we push into the halves, or is the halves all she wrote, and we get a little bit of a pullback, kind of following into this chop and churn trend? Now, again, we only have about 50 minutes left until the closing bell, and Amazon is still trading within the upper end of its range here. We've seen tickers kind of trade like this and then kind of melt up into the close when they've been strong all day. This has kind of happened with Google, it happened with Apple for multiple days, happened with Nvidia, of course. Now it's happening with Amazon. We saw what happened yesterday, quite a strong bid, and it seems like that bid has followed into today. So let's see whether or not that comes into fruition, but this consolidation above VWAP I do like. Maybe I should be churning it, but I don't know. I'm going to be a little patient to see what we do with these halves, 198 halves here. The NQ and the ES looking pretty decent here. I did also have a Palantir trade, which I was trying to revert. We talked about this right before we left. For the midday show there, and I did kind of add some more into it, stopped out above high a day on that one. Palantir super strong as well on the day. So yeah, that's all I really got on watch. Let us know what else you guys are trading on the day. I'm kind of watching AMD as well. AMD pushing fresh highs on the day as well. So super strong V-shaped recovery kind of happening on off of this dip on AMD as well. Nothing else on watch for me. Amazon is prime, let's say, in terms of my watch.
I know you don't know who Josh Brown is, but I want to say, like, I like Josh Brown. I have the Compound.
Okay.
Is one of the podcasts that I download. And we got JC Peretz, who's a good friend of Josh Brown's. He's been on our show. He's been on the recap show. He's been on the main show. What I don't like about the whole game is what we said before. Is that there's often sort of just like who can say what when.
Yeah.
And it's just that. And like, I mean, we've learned I've traded Pfizer. Like, as soon as I hear in my ear, oh, Josh Brown's going long, then we'll go long as well. He's very respected as far as
he has a following.
Opinions. Oh yeah, big following.
Okay,
it's the Reformed Broker.
Yeah,
it's his Twitter handle used to be Reformed Broker. So I've been following him for a long time. Family Guy, everything, so great. I like the podcast. It's just when tweets like that happen, you just often wonder, like, you kind of, and I was long during that. So it's all good. We had just gone long right here, and we actually tweeted it out. These are our longs. And we tweeted out, the purples are shorts. We actually did have a decent short back. We were trying to get some longs. In all of this, we will wound up down because I was holding the 200 break. That never happened. Now it might come through now. But at the end of the day, it's just like traders are getting run over, and it's just most of the time because of announcements like that. So I don't know. I mean, what are you going to do? You can't halt the stock, right? I mean, the stock moves the way it moves, and I'm fine with that happening. It's kind of the same way, like Nelson Peltz can come out and say, he's looking to take a board seat on Disney or multiple board seats, and he's accumulated a certain amount of shares. So it's all the same thing. It's just, watch out for that. And you were you were right onto that because you were like, oh man, it's going up just because of that. Yeah. There had to be a fade somewhere, right?
Oh yeah,
and it was there, but it hasn't been strong. The fade really hasn't been that strong. I mean, we've bounced off of 197 or 197.50, so it's really just pulled back like $2.
Yeah, exactly.
Isn't incroyable.
I mean, like I said this morning, it's kind of it's setting up in a way as if it's like poised for a push into 200, and obviously you get an intraday catalyst, and that can definitely, you know, throw a wrench in the price action, the natural price action, to say, and give us that move a little bit earlier again with the volume, right? We were looking for volume to kind of push the move, looking for participants to kind of come in and bid the stock up over time. And you know what? I'm going to piece off of that one for now as we kind of pull back off of that 50 mark. I did add a little bit there on a push for 50, and then I was just like, yeah, well, if we don't really print past the 50 that far, I will be out of it. I got out 36 is not the best. We were printing 40s. Again, I can be a little bit more precise and faster with seeing that price action. But again, like I said, can we hold the quarter, print the half? Printed the half, but then we pull back a little bit there, and again, kind of keeping in mind what the bigger picture or some of the consolidation range that's been happening with lower highs, kind of incrementally coming down off of that 200 test, off of the 199, now 199 halves as of right now. So maybe we are building. I'm more than willing to pick some more back up if we do come back down to here. But something to note is that NQ is pushing up, and then Amazon pulls back or like 15 pennies off of that 198 half. So I do want to stay a little bit patient. Again, if it breaks out and pushes, sure, I'll be more than willing to kind of get back in, and if I see the right stuff, and get back into the trade for the push for potentially for a 199 test. But again, sure, might not be the best, as I did have better prices down here with most of the size that I was taking, and yeah, kind of maybe the ad messes with the mental. Now I do have to kind of reflect on that, think about that going forward. But yeah, so let's see. We're back in the 40s as of right now, 198.40s. We could still very well potentially push that half. We're holding back above that some of the EMAs there. Again, on overall, we're holding above VWAP as well. So I'm still looking for that potential push going into the end of the day. But if the NQ kind of stalls here and pulls back in, I think the probability of pulling back into this 198, where I'm observing significant amount of volume kind of churning and also holding these highs, kind of come back in to grab maybe some more lick there on Amazon. But yeah, let's do a quick run through of some of the top constituents. I know we haven't done this in a while there, but yeah, some bigger players now taking the top charts. So let's take a look at the 15-minute chart, and just to see what some of these tickers have been up to. I do have to keep an eye on Amazon just to see if it kind of pushes back through that 198 half and maybe through this high. And we saw the type of acceleration price can be having on the day there. So I do want to be a little bit involved in that if that does come in real quick. So Nvidia, again, we talk about this, a little bit of chop and churn sideways. Microsoft as well. We don't want to take a look at that. Yeah, nice little strength off of the open. We were talking about, oh, it's testing all-time highs at that 456. Strong pullback, about 10 points back down, more than 10 points back down into, sorry, I thought that was 4.4. So I guess a few points, about 4 points back down into 452s. Quick maths, right? 456 to 452 is about 4 points down off of that move on the softy. Now Amazon, of course, we're watching. Look at this, consolidating well above VWAP, maybe a little overextended above VWAP there, kind of warranting a bit of a pullback there if it did, and it did kind of attempt that 200 and push back in. Now we're making the lower highs, kind of building into that 197, 198 area as of right now. And Goggle, of course. So yeah, Goggle kind of pushing back up towards these highs. Again, we take a look at the NQs here and the ES, a little bit of a bid happening right now. So we got that little bit of a bid kind of reflecting on the Goggle, breaking past some of these prior highs and pulling back in. Okay, so another ticker. I'm trying to remember another like a top 5, top 6. But again, Tesla. We covered. Yeah, Tesla and Meta are the first ones that kind of come to mind. TSLA. Okay, so sideways chop, and we're holding that strong leg that we had yesterday. Take a look at this. We talk about that 194 being a little bit of an interesting area. We mentioned that earlier on in the show. We hold that with a bit of double bottom and chopping up sideways, holding that consolidation low as of right now, pushing for fresh highs. There comes 198 back down, so it's a good thing I got out on the failure to follow through, and bang, there it goes back to the downside there. 198 coming back in, maybe potentially for a reload here, but yeah, it's kind of churn there has me interested off of that 198. I kind of want to get better. I kind of the range trade when it does come in and getting into the edges of the ranges there. But Tesla, what was the other one? We're talking about Meta as well. Meta kind of one of the top constituents as well. I know Berkshire's up there too. We can take a quick look at that one. I know a lot of people don't necessarily day trade that one, but again, still has opportunities nonetheless. Meta pushing for that 522 off of the open there, but faded off and consolidating. In and around VWAP, it would seem. Yeah, there you go. VWAP sellers a little dominant, it would seem, on Meta. So that might be an idea there for that one. But I'm not necessarily going to get involved, as I don't really, I guess, not that I don't trade it, I don't really care, but nothing I really see as of right now other than, yeah, sure, I don't want to be like, oh, it's been holding below VWAP, so I just want to get short right away off of VWAP. There just because it did that once or twice earlier on in the day. But yeah, what were we going to check? We were going to check a Berkshire. So let's see what the sticker is up to right now. Wow, what is that wick? Hello, that's interesting. 4 a.m. Crazy stuff happens at like near the close. No, there's no dark pools on TradingViews. These prices were actually printed. But that's definitely interesting.
Oh, Berkshire. Oh, okay. It was the other day. There was
that was a craziness that happened like a few weeks ago on Berk A, right?
Yeah. Went to
I saw that candle. I was like, oh boy. The options move on that must have been absolutely crazy. I wonder if anybody. Wow, take a look at that. 198 right back through, slamming to the lows right there. So what are the futures doing? Futures taking a little bit of a pullback there. So let's see if the bid kind of catches back in. But that is aggressive back down to the downside. You can see that prior times that it came back in to test this 197.5. It was not as aggressive other than the time that it pulled back off of that 200. So let's see how it comes in here. 197.5. I'll be looking for tape stalls to potentially get back involved. Maybe some chop and churn as well. Kind of trying to get in on the right side of the micro right side of the V on the consolidation or the range that we've been having. But again, the range has been compressing. So maybe just being patient for a range break might be the better idea there. But Berkshire, going back to that, straight to the downside here on the day, printing day low as of about 30 minutes ago, 45 minutes ago at 406.35s here. So let's see what this ticker has been up to. Kind of curious all the time what Berkshire is always up to. But yeah, look at that. A little bit of a consolidation on the upper end of this strong leg that we've had since the beginning of the year there. So that's definitely an interesting pattern happening. I'm curious to know how this little flag may or may not push right here. Throw a line on a chart, call it technical analysis right here. Boom. This is basically kind of what I'm seeing, but maybe this is not as dominant as this top one. As look at that, the sells off of this are quite aggressive. So let's see if we can kind of push that. Then we maybe get leg consolidation, bit of a 3-bar on a higher time frame potentially on that, or we pull back in. But interesting look there as a bit of a recap or a look at some of the top constituents there. So I don't have really any too much else on watch. Let me look at my layout here. Tech, AI, SMCI still pushing highs, AMD still holding 160, Intel sideways, Nvidia sideways, VanEck, SMH sideways, TSM sideways, ARM pushing apparently to the high of days there. But yeah, that's all I really got on watch. What's up, Adara?
Not much of a reaction here right now in this, but keep an eye on Target TGT. Little bit of a volume spike. Bloomberg reporting that the company is actually lowering its bar for shoplifting prevention. So basically, initially, I guess, the threshold was $100 for stopping theft incidents. Now, theft incidents of at least $50 can now be halted. So basically, Target lowering the amount of money required to intervene in a theft-related situation. So trying to crack down on theft here for TGT is reported by Bloomberg, guys.
That's ridiculous. Okay, so excuse me, criminal. Can I check your bag and see? Oh, your stuff totals $51. Okay, then we're going to stop you. You know, oh, your thing is only $48. Okay, you can walk out of the store. Like, what are you gonna do? It's gonna be impossible to stop these things. I mean. We could get political here, but we don't need to. But it's just like some of these laws have to change, and then you need to be able to enforce them. So I do know that there's different economical things about all of that stuff, but shrinkage remains a problem in the retail sector.
Yeah, definitely. So it's the wild, wild west out there.
Yeah, it is the wild, wild west. Yeah. Okay, so Wow, what just happened? Okay, so listen to this.
What's going on?
So we had very little left. We talked about Nvidia. I mean, all these outs. 125 was good. We talked about this with Ryan Faloona as well. 124.50, we got out because it was going to break. Then all of a sudden it took down, and then our stop got hit at 124. So our last little piece will lose 10 cents, but Nvidia really fell back in. And then on my biggest red, or the largest red name for me today is Google. We got stopped out right there. It broke 185.25, and then it came right. Sometimes those things happen. So you know what I just said? I said, forget about it. Let's go back over to something else here. So we went over to Apple, and now we're short Apple. So again, you know, Apple's at VWAP. Look at this, tick, 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 boom. Let's see if Apple wants to come back into the downside right now. This isn't going great, but at least we're making back 10, 15 cents at a time here on Apple. Let's see if it drips the rest of the day. I don't know. I mean, remember we were talking about this with the market. It was right here at open. That was 20,000. Looks like 20,000 held, right? I mean, this is 20,000 right here. So if we're just going to draw one of these nice fancy lines at 20,000 right there or so, I know you can't really, I guess you could see it. Sure, why not? Held right there. Pretty much held in the morning. So yeah, looks like the NASDAQ has and wants to go a wee bit higher. It's only 324 right now, so let's try to find some more opportunities. Oh, yeah, Hawktua. Yeah, we know that.
Yeah, I saw something about that meme. I still haven't figured out what it is. Apparently, it's some TikTok fad. I got to look it up. But I saw some friends.
To Alabama or something.
I have no idea. But I just looked up at some of the volume gainers on the day, and something has definitely been printing some paper for some longs today. International Paper Company, IP, I have no idea, but maybe they print some paper. I don't know. It seems like a paper company there. Take a quick look. Yeah, Dunder Mifflin says Ramin, definitely.
Yeah, they actually are located in Scranton, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay, yeah, they literally produce paper. So renewable fiber-based packaging, pulp products, manufacturing operations, and I think Adara has something to say about that.
So here's a story here with IP. This is actually in the watch list this morning as well. Basically what happened was this Brazilian company Suzano has ended its negotiation with International Paper. Initially, this was reported by Bloomberg. Suzano then confirming it itself. Basically, the companies could not agree on a price for the transaction. International Paper apparently was not interested, looking somewhere else, and Suzano has now ended negotiations for IP, so deal fell through.
The market cap there. Intellectual property, IP right there.
Yeah,
But,
we talk about RVOL kind of pointing us in the direction of tickers. And again, look at this RVOL, absolutely crazy. It's ridiculous. Like, I'm sure this ticker doesn't do much in the pre-market. That's why, or pre-market or after hours usually. That's why we're getting these numbers. But it definitely points you in the direction of something that potentially may have a significant move. But yeah, take a look at this. Off of the open is doing 50x, 20x. You can see it down here. I have a 5-day RVOL there, 5-period RVOL there. That measures it by the bar, specific bar of the time frame that you put it on. So right now I'm on the 15 right here, and you can see it doing about 50 to 16, maybe pulling back into less than 10 as of right now. But take a look at the pre-market, 11,000 RVOL, 17,000 RVOL on some of those crazy bars. So definitely, if you run some RVOL scans in the pre-market, this one definitely on your watch. And I think Adara mentioned that this was on our watch list as well this morning. So on the day, bidding back up, kind of doing a bit of a gap fill there of whatever reason it sold off of. Yeah, I was talking to Sean. I was like, yeah, I'm not that great with the fundamentals. I have no idea. I'm very, I guess, uneducated on the fundamentals of things. But I'm more of just like a chart, price action, tape, relative change, and distinctly different kind of trading. So that's what I like to focus on. But yeah, no, I do have to get a little bit better at looking at the fundamental side of things to add more confluence and maybe take bigger picture stuff as well. I know a lot of swing traders look at that as well. But again, everything is priced in a sense in the chart. Anybody and everybody who is interested in the ticker will eventually show up in the chart or on the tape. So I kind of just stick with those base things overall. But that's my little rant on that. But Amazon holding that 198 as of right now, so it seems like that bid is definitely still there, making relatively higher highs and relatively higher lows. but higher, lower highs as well. So price compression happening here at that 198. So it took a little bit of a chop there into that 198.5 for a potential push to the upside here because of the relative bigger picture, multi-day trend happening here. Well, by multi-day, I only mean by yesterday and today in terms of unusual strength. And again, but I keep forgetting his name, but Buddy kind of coming in and being like, all right, Josh Brown coming in and being like, let's go Apple. Yeah, let's go. Look at that expanding volume. Craziness happening on the Amazon.
Finally, dude.
What's up?
Finally.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm really happy that we flipped up our gears here a little bit because we did get a hit on Google. It broke through. You know, didn't hold VWAP at all, and now is having a hard time. And then we just flipped over to Apple, which is almost the exact opposite. It does resist that break and then comes back in. And I'm just ringing it because we just got to the 50 period and the 200 period. So, I mean, those are, I'm going to take another piece out right now as well. Those are levels that we'll take. We talk about that, the retracement back in. And this is where we say it all the time. You know, you got to be able to find your own style, and if yours is to retrace all the way back here, maybe that is something that you want to wait for. So I'm going to hold out now as we are out of about 50% of this trade. Just to talk about some more names, GameStop, we missed it again. We were waiting at 20. I mean, I'll tell you what my offer is, 25s. So it ripped up there. Again, we weren't at 30. We should have been. We were right there. We talked about it. Probably would have got that fill. It looks like 30 or 31 filled. And then we went to 25 after that. Dips down in and gets back to 21s again right there. So let's just wait. I mean, we'll wait for some of those imbalances to come through, on Apple, on GameStop. And when that does, we'll look at that. We do have Nike earnings happening after market today. Again, Lululemon's gotten really killed. A different beast altogether. I think you got to watch out for some talk here with Nike about the Olympics, but we'll talk about that when we get back from Madeira at the screen.
Take a look at some of these names making some larger moves here. There are quite a few in the S&P 500. Of course, we have Walgreens after earnings, CMG in its second day post-split. That international paper move just discussed, but there are quite a few others with some interesting catalysts here. Let's talk about Caesars here. CZR, this name popping up. We had some news coming right off the open. This reported by Bloomberg that Las Vegas Strip revenue from gambling for the month of May rose 3.71% year over year to $742.5 million. So increasing gambling revenue, maybe sending CZR here to the upside. They also have an 8.5% short float. Next up, we have NET, this could be Arista Networks, getting a price target increase from Citigroup here, starting at $330, now at $385 price target, so good look for ANET. Last but not least, we have ALB, Albemarle, this one trading lower along with a lot of these other lithium-related names. Albemarle also was popping up higher yesterday, so this could be a bit of a move back to the downside here, but seeing some pullback in the lithium sector, negatively affecting ALB, guys.
That is looking pretty
Thank you,
good.
Adara.
We're looking, yeah, you're just talking about AMC.
Yeah, there was a
holding that 198 nice.
Holding that 198, and right now 198 36s. I got to scroll back down. 35 36s. There's about 200 lots on the NASDAQ gate there, getting taken out after we've held higher lows there in a price compression. So I'm like, maybe this is getting ready to make a move as kind of players are kind of showing up and showing themselves on the book here. So again, talk about things being a little distinctly different. Size showing up on the book when it really hasn't on this chop. A little different to me, so I'm kind of have my ears perked for that one there on Amazon. But again, could be nothing, could be something, but price compression definitely has me interested here on Amazon. Palantir, oh boy, definitely not the ticker to revert. How much Arval is this thing doing? I don't think it was doing much either. Yeah, under 1 here on the 3-minute chart. So yeah, it did give a reversion to VWAP. I did not kind of respect that. Again, the ATR is not that much. So I do have to respect things when they kind of revert to VWAP and catch a bid, and not really get short again when it pushes prior highs there. So not the best there, but again, didn't risk too much of my daily shutdown on that. As again, it wasn't a top idea. It's just something that I saw, something that kind of falls into your lap, and you said maybe this is a potential setup there. And yeah, don't necessarily want to risk too much on that if that's the case. Usually there. It needs more confluence factors for me to really push a decent amount of size on there. But Amazon, for sure, I do want to be pushing and getting aggressive when it does kind of come in. And you can see I did a little bit of that earlier this morning, and maybe some degeneracy to start off with on this pop here, but coming right in when that distinctly different change happens on the tape and we pull back through that 199. I do have to learn to get a lot more aggressive when it is there, even though all of this foolishness is unnecessary, kind of shorting into strength there. Not always the best case scenario, but when it does come in, we manage our mischief there and work back out of it. So let's see what we do. That 198, man, the 197.5, I'm seeing again, very, very interesting stuff. Let's see what we do going into the close. We don't have too much time left here, Sean. What do you got going on?
I was looking at some of my notes. So yeah, I just looking at Apple because thing is like we just got another fill down here at 70. We could start to get them all out. It's 30 cents in the money, but I still think we could drop in a little bit. I mean, if the futures don't hold, thing is, it's like that Amazon. It's riding the 50 period again. It needs to break below and then get back into VWAP for anything to happen with Apple. So we're getting lighter and lighter on that name. Obviously, would like to be able to hold that a little bit there. Yeah, I did see that. There was news about hydrogen and Walmart. I just wasn't sure exactly what that was, but there goes Walmart. I'm guessing that it was Walmart is able to put up some hydrogen stations or charging stations or something there. But anyways, what's up with Walmart today? I guess it's on Walgreens maybe? Moved down in. So I was just saying that I really wanted to pick up some Walmart. I was talking about that earlier today. I just think with the change of consumer, everyone's looking for better prices. Right now, I think Walmart on a move down by 1% here today might be worth taking action on. I mean, this 66 looks like a great level. This 50 period is going to be off, so don't judge that. But the split level got it going through 60. Nice bump up, maybe a little overheated here, but yeah, Walmart back to 66. Let's not make a mistake. I think we want to buy this one. Costco's not coming down anytime soon, but that would be another name that I want to look at. What's up, Adara?
This story here, this is actually more of a Nicola-related catalyst. Nicola itself publishing on its website that Walmart Canada, so not Walmart in general, specifically apparently Walmart Canada, has purchased one of its Nicola hydrogen fuel cell EV tractors. So they purchased, it looks like they're the first one to introduce a hydrogen fuel cell electric semi-truck. Sounds like it's just the one truck right now, but basically Nicola announcing that Walmart Canada has added one of its trucks to its fleet. So that is the story there for WMT and NKLA, guys.
Yeah, Nicola moving there. Yeah, thanks, yeah, I just pulled up Nicola right away.
One truck?
I guess one truck. I mean,
one
I don't want to get
than...
two?
No, none.
None, sorry, yeah.
One would be worse than two.
I'm bad with quick maths.
Yeah. That's all good.
No, right away, I see the fade on Walmart. I'm like, what's Nicola doing there? A little bit of a pop coming in with some volume there. Again, a sub $10 ticker bouncing off of 802s right now, potentially. Did that news come out like right now, or was that in the
Walmart
morning?
Stuff?
Yeah,
relatively recent, like
okay.
10.
Because it seems like, okay. So this is action off of that, I guess. So I guess good news for Nicola and maybe not the best for Walmart, but I guess Walmart has already been selling off, kind of retracing yesterday's move on that. Oh, wow, look at that. Yeah, so maybe this was this more of that pool sell-off there that we're seeing here?
Walmart,
maybe, yeah, because we were talking about like Lowe's.
I was wondering about WBA
Lowe's and
too.
Home Depot.
Yeah.
So that was on Tuesday there. So let's take a quick look. Was that Tuesday as well? That was Tuesday. So you can see that a few of these tickers that may be involved in home purchases one way or another got a little sold off on Tuesday. Maybe some rebalancing stuff. Not really. We were talking about this. It's like, yeah, well, like what do pools have anything to do with like Walmart? But you kind of suggested that maybe it's that consumer spending that that might be affected, and maybe bigger players want to do some rebalancing off of said news. Like people are just looking for reasons to buy and sell, right? So I don't know how I guess fundamentalists work, but I guess definitely that when they move. The tickers move along with them there, and some strong sell-offs on some of those tickers on Tuesday happening. But we've been chopping sideways nonetheless off of that. 198 coming right back in. I was looking at this. I was like, oh, is this poised to go? But no, we're just only compressing right now. So maybe we do something into the close. The imbalances are only about 13 minutes away there, Sean. And Amazon continues to hold this 198 level. So maybe it's just setting up for tomorrow, or we talk about some of the best prices get dealt with in the after hours or pre-market. Maybe it's just going to do the move in pre-market and we get that gap coming into
I'm almost
tomorrow,
thinking about shorting Nvidia.
You like the short on Nvidia?
I mean, that break, like, why is it doing this right now is my question. You know, like it's starting to head to the downside. We do have a protection of VWAP a little bit. You have protection of 124. If you really wanted to put like a hammer down on this and you said, you know what, 20 cents worth of a risk, breaking back down below right now. We've made all our money long on it and we're up on the stock. So we don't want to necessarily throw this away by going short. I mean, but I just think that we can't, why couldn't we just come right back into this area? We had seen over the last little while though, a nice and balanced trade that's been coming through into the end of the day. This was yesterday at like 5:30. 1545, right where we are now, 345. There's that huge move up for Nvidia, then faded right at the last couple minutes into the close ahead of Micron, right? Micron came out and started that move down, but you know, Nvidia definitely found a bottom in and around 123. So right now, I'm thinking about it. Apple's retraced up, which is a good thing for us because we were able to get out of it. So Apple, so far, so good here. We'll wait to see if we can do something on this. But here's Apple, nice push back up. Again, we talked about getting out of it. We only have about 20% left on Apple. We could average this back in, and maybe it is worth it. I mean, heading into the imbalances, if nothing's going to happen here in the market and Apple goes for a little bit of a jog, let's try it. We'll take some 01s. There we go. We get some 01s. We're already waiting for 06s up here and trying to go against this like 20 area. So if we break above 20, let's get out. We'll reload this stock for now. We're short right here at 97. Probably worth taking advantage of that. I mean, nice retracement up. Maybe we'll revert back into the 50 period, which is 80s. So now let's put a bid down there just so we have that fill. If it comes back into the 80s, we'll put out 30% or so back down there and then see if we get even lower than that. And by the way, just a quick little update. It's not diamond hands. We're just hitting this kind of for fun. But GameStop right there, it's 25 cents in the money. I took it for now. We still have 40% of our GameStop on. Still got 40% of GameStop on. What's up, Adara?
Interesting note here on MRK. This one getting a little bit of a pop with volume to the upside as we head into the close here. Initially down earlier today on a failure to get FDA approval as of yet for its lung cancer treatment. Now, though, coming back up a little bit, announcing that this group from the CDC has unanimously decided to add Merck's and Sanofi's vaccine here for its preferential recommendation list for treatment of certain indigenous youth. So interesting look here for Merck. Also Merck saying itself, though, that the provisional recommendation will actually be official once everything's been reviewed and finalized by the CDC director. So basically a subgroup of the CDC has unanimously approved to recommend this vaccine. It'll be official soon once it's reviewed by the head of the CDC itself. So good look for MRK and this positive vaccine news, guys.
Yeah, that's a crazy bounce there. I kind of just pulled it up. A bit of a capitulatory candle there, pushing in into this 127 there, and you can see looking left again, some of this prior lows there. Okay, all right. So let me kind of push that open there. Yeah, look at that. A little bit of a support on that 127. The bid keeps on catching, and some news comes out. We dump into that 127, pick right back up. So the bid is definitely a little bit distinct at that 127 here on Merck. What's the market cap of this thing? Is what I'm asking right away. Shares float. Okay, wow, that's a nice little float there. 2.5 billion on the float with a market cap of 328 billion. So nice little. That's a big boy right there for sure. And getting some strong volume as well. What's the R vol on this thing doing? So average volume about 8. So it's doing about, I guess I'm gonna say in and around just around 1. But off of that push, doing about 1.7 as of right now in terms of a 5-day period on that MRK to the upside. But yeah, let's see if we break this 130, because if it's a intraday catalyst, I think intraday catalyst, Sean, I think are one of the best setups in the market, because all of a sudden you have something that's been happening. Here comes 198 again. You have a trend that's been happening or whatever, and it's doing something, and all of a sudden it breaks, and you have everybody, not always, but everybody that's been in for a certain amount of time offside off of fresh news. Situational change trade is kind of how I like to term it. But yeah, intraday news, solid catalyst. Always trying to look for who is offside, whose money are we taking, right? So it's like, all right, the longs or the shorts, right? So definitely shorts were making money. All of a sudden, rips up on that news. Now it's a bit of a long, it would seem, as of right now. How's that? How's that?
Yeah, I mean, we're really only in one trade. I mean, we got out of GameStop. We still have a little bit of that. We already know we're going to get out if it breaks 50s. So that's already a play. That's 1-to-1, and we're up on it so far. So we've done well on it, but always looking for a little bit more. Apple fell in. We got an 88 fill. We did not get 85 like we're waiting for. So let's see if this wants to continue its little bit of a downside push into that. And then we should have done it. And I actually kind of got distracted there listening to you. Nvidia went right back to 124. We said we were going to short that, right? And we didn't do it. So there it is, 124. We said that you have a little bit of risk associated with it. And you went to punched out at 124.08. But anyways, nice downside move there, giving you 40 cents back. And we sit here in Apple, which isn't doing anything. So it's just funny because like a $214 name versus 125, or that's Google. Versus Nvidia 124, this one's definitely more aggressive, and there it goes again. So I still like that short, but remember, imminent, right, are these imbalances. So yeah, the SMCI short. I think Tesla, so that's a good point there. Someone in the chat says Tesla 200 tomorrow. I'm going to say yes. Could even get there overnight, right?
Yeah,
so
definitely. That's what I'm thinking.
Huge move here.
Here's a Quadunk.
A great. Like I'm making notes all the time. Like these aren't even the sticky notes. Like they're just the normal ones. These are the sticky notes. They're branded right there. And it's just like it's trying to make notes about different setups. And you'll often see me talking about that. Like this is a perfect one, and it's kind of looks like the Tesla on the daily down here, right? But it's just like you're basing out. You have these bottoms. Now that wick would scare you for sure. And if you're in it, that would have been a problem. But at the end of the day, you don't always get those kind of wicks. So you're basing. I don't think you take this trade here. You take this trade once you start to break again. So you had a little bit of a break right there of 196. You probably would have taken that and been caught in it, but have only gone 30, 40 cents against you. And then there's the breakout. So you're breaking out there on Tesla, breaking through the 200, breaking through VWAP, breaking through everything. And now it's upside. There she goes. Ozan, you want to blow the cow? Here it comes. There it is. Cow be blowing up right there. So there you go, Ozan. That's for you. And here comes Apple right back in. We have to just be disciplined. We talk about that all the time on the show. We talk about it on our podcast. And there it is right there, coming into the 200 period. So look at this. Short. And now we come back in for Apple. We will have to take another one out. Hey, let's do it again one more time there. This is Apple starting to pay out a little bit here as we are short at 214. So we definitely flipped the switch on that one. And there it goes to the downside. And let's go GameStop. Let's go, you little chimpanzee, monkey, whatever that is. That ain't no ape. But here it goes, 25. So right now we are long. We are now 40 cents in the money on this GameStop trade. And again, it was just from here. Bought the 25, bought the dip again on GME. And again, there's the dip, right into this. We like that trade for sure. Let's see what happens now with the rest of this day. So again, Apple, 26 cents in the money, but we are trying to be smart about it and understand that there is an imbalance coming. So that could definitely change things. We do have our stop order out. That's how we trade. So we're going to wait for that. GameStop is right back to this level. Do we want to wait for an imbalance? I mean, I feel like not getting something out here at 25 and just hitting 50 cents here at the end of the day is probably worth it on GameStop as we just start to like sort of, I don't want to say stack up or anything like that. This isn't like not going to be a huge winner, but at the end of the day, you have to get out, right? And so we have to be flat. GameStop could be something to hold. Oh, talk about being flat at the end of the day. Who wants to hold DJT shares into tonight, right? I mean, it is debate night, so get ready. Get that popcorn ready for that because you're going to have a big opportunity to hopefully, I mean, I think a lot of, everyone watching the debate is already sort of into what some of the topics will be. But at the end of the day, you want to see how, each candidate performs. And with Donald J. Trump, the debate is just another time to get an opinion on this stock. So we'll see tomorrow what happens. But again, nice run up over the last week into today. And then I think it's a sell the event type of thing. And Obi and I have discussed that. What's up, A?
Watch out for Embraer here. ERJ, this is U.S. listed shares of a Brazilian company here. The FAA saying that an Embraer business jet apparently went off the runway at the Newark airport So now issues with ERJ here, basically jet going off the runway at the airport, according to the FAA, guys.
I mean, why does it have to be a Jets problem? I mean, the guy, the pilot could have had something, so we'll have to watch out for that. Embraer, I believe, is the name on that one. So, yeah, interesting little move there with only 2 minutes to go. Look what just happened to our friend Apple here. It just went all the way back up. So I'm going to take another piece out here at 91 again. Maybe the imbalance is coming the other way for us here, and someone is spooked this stock, because look what the market's doing right now, right? Market, downside, exactly what we had thought. Apple, what? Apple wants to go back up and short us again? Are you kidding me, Apple? You just handing out candy over here? We'll take it, man, all day, every day. And let's just get out, because candy tastes so good, after maybe. But if you leave it for too long and eat too much of it, you get that stomach ache. So let's make sure to get out of some of this Apple here. As there it is, look at these reloads. Once, twice, another one. As Travolta goes, hey, man. It's almost the weekend. Got any plans this weekend? OB.
Yeah, no real plans for this weekend as of right now. I do have a lot of catching up to do in terms of, playbooking things. I'm a couple of weeks behind on that. Going to be weekly reviews. I've been doing those, so those have been pretty decent. Kind of doing some reflection on the trading for the week. Usually do that on a Saturday, Sunday. But yeah, no, I've been having some couple of busy weekends for the past couple of weekends there. But this weekend I don't have too much going on there. How about you?
Yeah, very super busy. Starting tonight. Game tonight. Game tomorrow. 2 games on Saturday. We're traveling eastbound and down. Okay, so here we go. It's a nice move downside for Apple right now. Let's see what happens with these imbalances. Hopefully, more downside pressure coming with this in 2 and in 1. And if it is, then we should get some more out. There it is, a nice little dump in. Look at that fill that we just got there in the 50s. Let's go, man. Props it up. We're going to finish the day pretty much at our highest spot right now. Nvidia with the sell as well. So you don't think something was up with that? We talked about that. Why are we going so far to the downside right now? It's Nvidia downside right there. There it is. Intel, whatever, man. Talk to me at about 20 and change for Intel. TD Bank has been hit a little bit lately. We talked about Canadian banks, especially with our friend Kevin O'Leary coming through there 2 days ago or so. That's about it, man. So not too many huge names on here. Let's just do a quick check back in on GameStop. We might as well get another piece out here. We still have a piece, so let's just punch something out there. We'll get another piece out right now at 05s. Doesn't look like it wants to move too much, but it's Apple, which is the apple of my eye right there. That's another 50 cents. So we're stacking. Like I said, we will finish the day at our highest spot, which is great. Start off the holiday with this, and we're pretty happy to put that on. So there goes Apple, nice downside move. After losing on Google, and it's a good thing we got out of it, right? Look at this move all the way to the upside. Don't fight it. Different, man. What a difference a day makes, and so on and so forth. We just went over, found another name. We stayed biased short, stuck to our guns, had that confidence in that, and there it is to the downside, 214 and change. What is that? Nah, pass.
Okay, thank you.
Ramin just has a, was this some walnuts in there? Some pecan. Maybe that's a pecan Danish. That would make sense. Bye-bye, Apple. Nice downside move. Obi, take care of this seat for me, my guy. You're going to be in here for a while. I'm back a week. I don't even know what day. Not next week. The next Monday after that, we'll be back. So take care. Enjoy, for sure, your holidays right now. And, yeah, you will do more than I do here. So good luck with all of that. And then Neil will be beside you as well. So the dynamic duo continues with you and Neil.
Yeah, it should be fun now. Yeah, all week next week. Yeah, definitely enjoy your vacation.
Yeah, man.
It's going to be
a day off and then a half
well-desered time off for sure. Yeah.
So the 3rd is a half day, and then the 4th is off.
Yeah, 4th of July. No trading, and then the day before, I think markets close around 1 or something. That's
exactly
usually 1. Yeah, I don't know how the after hours works on those days, but I think it does trade to a little bit later. Yeah, should be an interesting week. A little bit of a quieter week as well. Don't really haven't really checked the earnings as much. I usually do that on the weekend or going into the weekend there. But Amazon coming right back into VWAP there, so that's definitely, so it did pick a direction. We were talking about price kind of compressing, some size showing up before it kind of makes a move, gets filled on the ask, and then just slams down. So if those were sellers, those sellers are definitely kind of winning there, but it doesn't really matter. Size got taken on the ask, and then we break below into the low of the range for a reversion into VWAP. I just want to pull it up on this chart here so we can take a look at the VWAP test. So right here, boom, you can kind of see it here as well. But yeah, holds VWAP pretty much throughout the day. Now this is on a 3-minute chart, and then kind of pulls right back into that level there. So higher time frame, again on the 30-minute, you can see the price compressing a little bit better there. But yeah, 15s and 3s. I also sometimes like the 10, but again, whatever kind of I guess time frame you like to work with. You can definitely see a little bit of price compression happening there in and around that 198 orbit, and look at the NQ pulling right back into that 20,000.
Oh yeah.
We talk about that level maybe being a little interesting as it's been acting like a magnet, and look at that going into the end of the day with only less than 6 minutes left. We magnet kind of flush right down. A lot of selling happening as well across the board. I'm looking at Nvidia. Nvidia is actually day lows there, Sean. So Nvidia is about to break day. I think it already did break day low 123s. We were talking about that 123 being a little interesting, kind of that lower end of the range there. So let's see if we get a little bit of a bounce. Only about, I guess, less than 6 minutes, 6 minutes and 15 seconds as of right now until the closing bell. So yeah, don't really have too many other trades on watch. Nothing really too spicy there on the close either. Yeah, Nvidia with a 2.6 million sell imbalance, so maybe that was the one. It is selling off quite aggressively, so maybe that was a little spicy. I'm not really watching that one as close as maybe I should have, but yeah, take a quick look at that on a shorter time frame there. You can see it a little bit more distinct on the 1 minute. Strong little sell off, attempts to break low a day. Maybe only gets there by what? By 1 penny. Breaks it by 1 penny. Talk about a lick grab. So Nvidia comes down, fails VWAP, pulls in, cracks the low a day at 122.94s, and then all of a sudden, and it goes down to 122.93, and it bids right back up for about a 70 penny push there, back to 123.60. So nice little push right back up off of that 123 that we were talking about, maybe potentially an area where the bid has been stepping in, and lo and behold, it kind of comes in right off of those imbalances there with a sell imbalance nonetheless. So interesting action. Let us know what you guys have traded today with only about 4 minutes left. We can take a quick look at what opportunities potentially people had on the day and kind of talk about them, but nothing else for me that I have going on. Like I said, nothing too crazy on the close either.
We were just lucky enough to get $1 basically on Apple. I mean, Apple just fell right in, and we weren't sitting here, we were watching it. When it came into this level, I mean, that's the buy, right? And then 355 hits, and you know what happens there? We get a reversal in the imbalances. So we just have a small piece left of that. I mean, we have less than 5% left on Apple. As it moves all the way back up. I mean, all these outs and then right back into there. So we did well to cover that trade near the bottom. And so right now I'm just giving it, I just bid 40s, I think. Yeah, 42 to get a piece out there on that one. You will be seeing a new combo for the market recap show, but one that is very, very familiar to many of you. It'll be Sharif, I almost said Obi. Sharif and Adara on the market recap show, and the Neil will be back in next week, and that should be a lot of fun. So enjoy that, as we just have a couple. I mean, you know what? I'm just going to get out of Apple right now. It's such a small piece. I don't even need this to go back up. I'm just going to punch it out right there. We'll get out of Apple right there. Still a winner at the last piece of it, but it did break back up the last 5%. So could have probably traded that a little bit better. at the very end, but it's just 5%. So I'm not back until July 8th, I looked. So it should be a good, fun time there, and just everybody enjoy your time. You know, you don't get enough of it here in the summer, especially here in Ontario, when it doesn't seem like it's long enough, right? I mean, it seems like all the time.
Yeah.
You know,
Winters
it's like
feel like they're
already
getting a
the
little
end of
longer.
June. Like, it's crazy how fast time flies.
Was it is it summer solstice already passed?
Summer, so my kid's last day is basically today and into tomorrow.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
was
I
the
think there's a lot of
20th,
kids
that's right,
around that are out now, but generally speaking, yeah, here it's for sure right around now. So with only 2
Half the
minutes
summer
to
gone,
go,
just like that.
yeah, summertime.
We're talking about Chewy, yeah.
Chewy. Oh yeah, by the way, so I saw
Whatever happened to
Westermeyer
that
there.
ticker?
Hey, Mr. Westermeyer. Yeah, Chewy went red.
What a beautiful short,
I mean,
man.
yeah.
God.
You know, you're going to talk about this trade for a while.
I love that backside is beautiful, Sean. Holy, look at that.
I mean, yeah, you had to probably pay for shorts at the top there, but you gotta anticipate that
well
kind of
worth
move,
it,
right?
Yeah, exactly. If it's a euphoric move like that, we're talking about shorting parabolics and stuff like that. It's definitely a little bit of an art, a little bit of a science for sure. But yeah, some beautiful, beautiful action there. I do not like to use VWAP in that situation either. Some other indicators might come into play for these kind of moves. But yeah, absolutely beautiful, beautiful backside there. Again, break of trend, probably a distinct change in action on the tape there. You also had a halt in between, it would seem, maybe a couple of halts even. Let's take a quick measure of that. Yeah, so right there's a halt at about 10%, and then another 10% halt there, and then maybe another 10% halt. So a triple halter on the upside potentially there on Chewy. Absolutely crazy there. So this market is full of opportunities. People talk about the summertime kind of slowing down and stuff, but it really depends on what your playbook is. And if you have more arrows in the quiver, oh boy, is the market very, very abundant for taking opportunities there. But with only about 20 seconds left, I gotta
hit the countdown.
Okay, all right,
very,
I'll
very
let you do
soon.
that.
Yeah, I got it
worries.
right now, and here we go. We will get ready to hit it there. As Nvidia and Apple's back to 214, GameStop 25 and change. It's been a great. Well, you guess I got some time. 5, 4, don't panic. Yeah,
3, 2, and 1. Thank you.
All right, U.S. markets are now closed, and that just about does it for that. So, yeah, great opportunities today to trade. I mean, I think we hit it with that Amazon trade.
Boom.
That was fantastic. You don't need too many of them, and when you
The
get
front and
that,
the piece of the back as well, you know?
what?
Got the front and the piece of the back as well.
Yeah, you're
so,
always
you
talking
know.
about that backside. That's
Oh,
one,
yeah.
one of the things we definitely love about you around here, Obi. So, all right, look, it's Nike earnings.
Yeah.
We've got Sharif, we've got Adara coming up, and then we have a guest today, don't we? Who's No, nobody. Okay, even better. All right, if we're ready, I took out the earpiece, so we are. So, all right, everyone, I'll see everybody in a couple of days. Have a great one. Best of luck trading. It should be a couple earnings coming through, and then next week's pretty slow, but enjoy your, beginning of July here, and I'll see you very, very soon. Thank you, Obi, again, for stepping in today, and good luck over the next little while.
Thank you.
From everybody here for this show,
Yes.
we thank you.
Thank
hit the
you
like,
very
hit the
much.
subscribe, and let's go back over to the desk with the market recap show. Ciao.
Take care, guys.
Great job, guys. Great job, OP. Welcome to the Market Recap Show, guys. Welcome, Adara. First time here together. But I told her off camera, I'm like, yeah, nothing unusual. We're on the air for 3 hours. Yeah, big day today, guys. A lot to cover. Let's start by telling you guys that we obviously have Nike earnings at 4:15, so Adara's locked and loaded. She'll have that for you as soon as we get it, so keep an eye out on that. So I want to start off with Micron. Obviously, Micron was one of the big movers today, Adara. We both know that it sold off yesterday, despite the fact that it did maintain the earnings, I guess, estimates, but it was a forecast that kind of sent this one down. Ends up, guys, 7 1/5 in the negative. Really broke below yesterday's close at 142. This one took a bit of a nosedive today, Dare.
Yeah, Micron not very well received. I think the issue was the guidance. So analysts were looking for $7.6 billion for forward guidance for the next quarter. What they said was $7.6 billion plus or minus 200 million. So really it was low end of the guidance, 7.4 billion, high end 7.8 billion, but the low end coming below the estimate. Same thing there with their estimate for earnings per share. They said, I believe it was $1 to $1.15. estimate was $1.05. So the point we're trying to make here is the estimates and what was being expected slightly off. That was the EPS estimates for the year.
All right, and Walgreens was the other one that took a bit of a nosedive today, guys, down 22.5%. You can see that one finished down in the $12 area. Guys, this one closed out at 15 3/4 yesterday, 22.5 in the negative. It did hold, though, from a technical perspective, if you're going to look at this one tomorrow for a possible second day play. This 11 3/4 bottom was quite notable here, especially going into the afternoon. There was definitely a buyer in and around that area. This is the 5-minute look, guys, but that 1170, 1175 area got defended quite well. Just to recap the fundamental aspect of this, Adara, I mean, really here, it was a miss on EPS, but they beat on revenue. But really here, it's about them going forward and having to close a lot of these stores.
Yeah, that's definitely an issue, basically, as well. Them lowering their EPS guidance, that is definitely not a great look. They lowered pretty significantly as well here, saying that there's just some issues with the industry, the pharmaceutical industry, and with consumers. So does not at all sound bullish for either the industry or for Walgreens. That's why you saw CVS selling off as well there. So not a great look here at all.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Amazon was the other big mover, but that was no surprise because this one was moving quite aggressively yesterday. 2 1/4 to the high side today, another all-time high, really knocking on the door of that $200 level, $199.84 all-time highs. Sells off, a little bit into the close there, bouncing off VWAP at 197 and 3 1/4, traded, I believe, into 198. They're going to take on Temu. They're going to take on Shein. They want all the smoke.
They do, in fact, want all the smoke. And I think, maybe the next thing, we were talking for a while here about Apple or Tesla, which we'll get to 200 first. We know who won that battle. Its name is Apple. But I wonder now if the next one is Apple or Amazon, 200. Because you could get either or both of those tomorrow. That could be an interesting little spicy trade to keep an eye on. But yeah, Amazon, interesting look. We saw some of the Chinese ADRs. PDD got hit pretty hard with this in particular, selling off on this news. But good look for AMZ and trying to take Temu on.
Yeah, BlackBerry, I was in this one today. This one we joked about lulling me to sleep, but no, for real though, guys. This was a beat. It was up nicely on the day, about 11% or so. Revenue, like we talked about, $144 million. It's really, Darren, like I was talking to Brendo about this on the big desk today, like right here actually. And I said to him, I'm like, who is this company? Are they like an Internet of Things company? Are they going to make cell phones? Who do they want to be? I mean, obviously we're Canadian and we want Canada to do well, but this company, I mean, we're still looking for some identity. Can I actually tell you something?
Please.
During the pandemic, they were talking about actually selling off some of their IP, just making themselves like an IP kind of database company that just sells off different rights to things that they own. Then they started talking about possibly getting into navigation for cars. And that was supposed to be kind of a revenue generator. Didn't work out. Nothing that I hear. So it looks like they're going to be like cybersecurity maybe and something else.
Yeah, they just need to like pick a lane. Like they did come from being a phone. Of course, they started as a phone company here. The IoT actually saw that did increase on a year-over-year basis in terms of revenue. So the IoT maybe not a bad choice for BlackBerry here. But yeah, certainly investors reacting nicely, I guess, to these earnings. But I saw some positive and negative analyst notes, so it looks like people who are on the analysis side are not quite as sure. Traders liking it, though, today.
Fair enough. Let's go on to maybe a little bit of a better story. Didn't work out that way today. 1.7 to the downside is Rivian. Investor Day today. That was in the morning. Adara, you were live on that. You didn't hear anything that exciting, though.
I did not really. It looks like it was more one of those things where they sold off throughout the event and they popped up after they mentioned AI, and I actually had it come to me because I was like, guys, just so you know, AI being mentioned by Rivian, that did nothing. Their AI implications or involvement, basically, integration was, we'll have AI for customer service issues, so you have a little chat bot. I have this issue with my car. The AI will help you. I guess traders not reacting too positively to that. But it was pretty interesting. They had RJ talk, who was the CEO, of course. They also had some people in the hardware side, the engineering side. So probably have a good weekend, Sean. Enjoy your trip.
Katina, man.
It was definitely more of a technical, I think a lot of technical jargon being dropped, but pretty interesting stuff. Investors, I think, reacted a little bit better after the investment ended.
Yeah, it ended up being a V-shaped recovery. Like from a technical perspective over here, we closed out yesterday at 14 3/4. As you saw, we did find some support at 13, basically and a half, sold back up into 14 and a half. But I was telling Yanni, I was telling a lot of the guys on the floor, I don't know if I told you this, Adara, I did a bit of an analysis on the 200, okay? The 200 daily. And I said to myself, all right, for the times that the Rivian has broken above the 200, how has it acted? Because there were a couple of examples. Most notably that July 2023 breakout, that was sustained, as well as this one over here in the early part of this year, late part of last year. And so we did break above the 200, and every single time, at least within, 10 trading days, we sold right back down to make newer lows. And it looks like today we're knocking on the door of that 200 a day. We closed right at it, 1450. That's exactly where the 200 is. We'll have to see what tomorrow brings. Do we break below it, or do we can, recover?
That's a great analysis there. Yeah, thank you, Sherry, for going over that. That bull flag is an interesting look for sure on the daily chart, but we haven't really had an ability with Rivian to stay, as Sharif was just mentioning. We'll have a catalyst, and then Rivian will peter out a little bit. I think one of the best days we had in a while was that early March when we got the R2 and the surprise R3 introduction at that event. Since then, though, a little bit iffy. We'll have to see if it can stay above this $10 level now.
All right, everybody's asking for it, so we're going to give it to the Nike. We're expecting that within about 7 minutes or so. Look, it's an interesting one because here's what I see, guys. This is a downward channel, like it or not. We start this downward channel, these are the double tops in the pandemic, okay? And then below that, we did recover from the lows in the fall of 2022. Since that time, though, it's been lower highs and lower lows on that recovery downward. So look, we're nowhere near the lows. We're still not at that $80 area, but certainly with $90 double bottom, there's still lower highs and lower lows. So, the trend here on Nike is a tough trend. From a fundamental perspective, we know that they've had issues as well with consumers running out of money.
And with China as well, the one level I can say for Nike is just a downward trend. I do think we're holding decently here at this 92 and on the daily, and then again at 94. But other than that, you're right, the downward trend certainly in session. I think if they can do better in China, because we saw Apple. Apple initially had some issues with sales in China. Once that improved, we saw a lot of sentiment improve. Yep. We saw the chart improve. Because a lot of that self came after we had those earnings where they were not doing well, and then they get those downgrades at the start of the year, right? So if Nike can have a similar story, not that it's all a similar company to Apple, but in terms of the China story, I think those two could maybe be comparable.
Here's what we're looking at, guys, in terms of expectations for earnings. The previous move was basically 7% in the negative. This expected move this time, 8.3% plus or minus. We'll have to see exactly what happens in about 6 minutes or so. Options volume on this one, basically, decent, looking from what I've gleaned from this website in the past with respect to earnings options volume, it's definitely up there. It's definitely not in the millions, though. Acuity or Walgreens having a bit more volume today, and you saw a bit of more of an outsized move for them, down 23%. The expected move on this one, though, Adara, 8.1%. So this almost tripled basically tripled the expected move here.
Yeah, it was a really interesting look, that WBA sell-off. Levi's actually a little bit weaker as well, but the volume in that pre-market was not the same as what we saw with Walgreens. I remember when that first came out, I think we were down 4%. I check again, we're down 8%. We're down 12%. That Walgreens, I think it was just the ferocity of that sell-off is, I think, something else. And you're right, the amount that expected move was tripled.
And this is the last earnings right here on Nike, just to go back. So that was, I believe, excuse me, I actually have that incorrect. So my mistake. I have to go. When did they last report? May something, right?
Nike.
When was the last report for Nike? Let's find out. I'll look that up in a second. I just want to be able. I thought I'd be able to glean it off the volume on the chart, but I'm not able to. I'll look at that in a second. But yeah, we'll wait for Nike. We'll see what else comes out there. A lot of the small cap gappers, let's go over that. Today we had eyes on GovX. That was an interesting one today. One that we know as a former runner. Let's have a look at the chart there. There you go. Came in really at 9 o'clock. The volume came in quite aggressively, but we did end up the day below the volume weighted average price. At least that's a level that I look at for breakout trades there. We end up basically making lower highs and lower lows off that initial pop.
Yeah, that was certainly an interesting look there for sure. A lot of these, though, too, they had that move in the midday. They had that massive pop-up, and they just kind of fizzled from there on. I think sometimes if you don't have like a really strong catalyst either as well, there can be a little bit of fizzling. A lot of the moves today were like, oh, this rumor, this thing happened. We might have that. Ultimmune was the same. There was a rumor with that, the New York Post, oh, this could be the new obesity drug. And then it kind of fizzled.
Exactly.
So sometimes catalysts do matter, I guess, is the
yeah,
line.
that's the look. And Kala was another one, Adara, that we looked at today. This one was about 41% in the clear. A good look for them. I didn't trade this one. My issue with Kala, as I complained about during the midday, was the range per candle. Despite the fact that it did, it showed you like consistency. So in an area it would make higher highs, higher lows. When it ranged, it looked like it was ranging. So I don't think you got bamboozled all that much, but I just couldn't really, bamboozled. I just couldn't really stomach the inconsistency and the lack of respect for the indicators. At least that's how I trade, right? I look for retracements. I look for basically areas of support and resistance. I didn't see it on this one.
There wasn't much consistency in that. It looked like it held pretty well, kind of had a rounded top. Oh, wait, no, it didn't. It just, it's either there's no breakdown, there's no breakup, and there's no range.
SMCI, another really interesting one today, Adara, up 6.84% in the clear, basically closes out at day's high, knocking on that $900 level again, 890, 890-ish we close. This one was interesting. A lot of people were talking about this during the midday.
Yeah, SMCI, of course, this one is always very super and not so micro in terms of the moves that it makes. It's one of the larger movers on the S&P 500 from a percentage basis. This one tends to, when the semiconductors move, kind of outperform them, but this is up while Nvidia was down, so SMCI getting a little maybe more interesting here. We know we had that massive move up when it went from like $400 to $1,000. Maybe it's trying to gear up to do another one of those. We'll have to see.
All right, this one we didn't talk about during the midday show, but I saw it towards the end. Polestar having a great day today. Look at that move up, guys. And this one started at 1:30, excuse me. The breakout coming in as Polestar delivers first customer Polestar Electric 3 SUVs. We know that they've been looking to get into that SUV market. Why wouldn't they? SUVs are in demand right now. The ones that we see, and we often talk about this on the show, we see them a lot in this area. And the ones that I see are sedans. So good that they're getting in. And I want to see for continuation play possibly tomorrow.
Well, yeah, and that one, and also Nicola. We know we had the story with Nicola coming out right at the end of the day. They published this themselves on their website. Walmart is using one of their hydrogen trucks, adding, from what I sounded like, one vehicle to their fleet, saying that this is apparently the first hydrogen vehicle being added to the Walmart fleet. So Walmart Canada getting one of its trucks. Kind of interesting story. Up to see Nicola, Polestar, Rivian, lots of these EV names in play.
And Nicola reverse split today, 1 for 30. I didn't have eyes on this.
I wasn't even aware of that.
No, right here. So Nicola's trading at $8.61. There you go. Nicola shares trading lower after the company. What?
Yeah, that could be interesting tomorrow.
Yeah, recently affected 1 for 30, obviously likely to bring the company back into compliance under the NASDAQ listing rules. So we'll have to see that. But yeah, let's have a look at Nike. We've been talking about that.
For the numbers.
Yeah, I know. I'm just going to load up the chart preemptively there. Yeah, she's got it. I like that. I want to have my eyes on it too, Fabian. Okay.
Everyone has to have all their eyes. Yeah.
Right? I got my own chart. She's got her own charts. Yeah, there's a look. Guys, Nike closed out at $94 yesterday, so we'll have to see what their reaction is.
Numbers just came in. I'm just waiting to read through them all here, but they did.
Oh, there it is. There's a move down initially anyway. We'll have to see how this continues to react.
Yeah, I'm good to go. I can read out these numbers here. Revenue, that is going to be a miss. Q1 revenue, $12.606 billion versus the estimate of $12.841 billion. So 12.6 versus 12.8 expected. That is going to be a miss. We also have here the net income, $1.5 billion versus the estimate of $1.26 billion. That's going to be a beat on net income for NKE. Pre-tax profit also a beat, 1.726 bill versus 1.584 bill expected. So really the only miss here is going to be the revenue. Just to go over that net income number again as an earnings per share, it was 99 cents per share versus the estimate of 83 cents per share. So nice miss there. Nice beat there. They did also have their inventories were $7.5 billion, down 1% compared to the prior year. But yeah, I mean, other than the revenue miss, this is not necessarily a bad look.
No, and it's interesting because the fact that they beat on EPS means that they were able to shore up costs. Coming down now, though, here we go. So a little zag, guys.
Keep an eye on everything.
Yeah, keep it coming down into 92, so we'll have to keep an eye on this one. When's the call for this one, Adara?
I'll check that right now. Also, the inventory is down 11% compared to the prior year. So that inventory, sorry guys, it's not 1%, it's actually 11%. So that's down a little bit more significantly. This one basically flip-flopping here, up then down. I'm not seeing anything else here. The most recent thing I'm saying is that 11% decrease there in inventory on a year-over-year basis, $7.5 billion there. So let's keep an eye. Round trip, says Darwin in the chat.
Oh,
I do
here
not
we
disagree.
go.
This coming in, dropping hard with volume. If I see anything else, I will. You guys
Sure.
are keeping an eye on when that conference call comes out.
It comes out at 5 o'clock, guys, scheduled for Nike. So that's going to come by way of 5. We'll be off the air, obviously, but by that time. But if you are going to trade in the aftermarket and you're going to trade Nike, you got to have one eye, or you got to have both eyes on the chart, and you got to have your ears with the conference call, because anything there can change things around. So obviously look for major statements and then price reaction, then you can kind of gauge that. So that's the look there. We're trying to hold 90 there, kind of looking like a little indecisive. I guess maybe they're waiting for commentary color. Here comes $90 though. So it looks like we are headed down now, about 4.5% Nike. There's the $90 area. I don't want to load up the level 2 because I don't want to log in to my area over here.
Oh, they broke below 90.
There it is.
No.
Yeah. So it does look like there is going to be some weakness here. So where can we find a support? Let's have a look at this from a technical perspective. All right. So right away, we looked at the area trough over here of $89. That was the low in March and early April of this year. Beyond that as well, we also have really good support at this area, Adara, on the daily chart. There's a double bottom here, so we're going to have to see if this area holds up. Below this area, though, you really have to go all the way into September of 2022 when we got down into 83. We have not been there. So I expect some support here.
We bounced a little bit at 89.
That makes sense, Adara.
Yeah.
So that makes sense there. So we'll have to keep an eye. I should have done a little bit more homework on that one to see where support could have been.
Yeah, well, I'll give you the guys this as well. So we did. I think that the major misses here, I'll look at it from the positives and the negatives for the Nike earnings. We did have a beat here, EPS 99 cent versus the estimated 83 cent. They're also higher than expected pre-tax profit. However, then on the negative side, we do have an 11% year-over-year decrease in inventory, so not a great look there. Also, they did have a revenue miss here. So this came in at $12.6 billion. The last year, it was $12.83 billion, so that's already a year-over-year drop. Analysts were expecting $12.84 billion, so a slight increase year-over-year that we did not get. So not seeing anything else come down here other than those numbers. But yeah, we'll have to really see what we get at the conference call.
All right, happy for you, Alex Diaz. Great dip. I hope you took that. I saw some people. Sarah Demo says 88.42. Shout out to you, my man. I love that. Who else has got the dip? Yeah, baby, keep running down, Nike says. Scott Market Bull 427. I don't know if you're short. I don't know if you just want to buy lower. Whatever their hope and victory, happy about that. Darwin, the OG, says Nike inventory 7.5 billion, down 11%. You mentioned that, Adara. Thank you for that. That is interesting. Well, that could be a couple of things. One, was inventory inflated to begin with, and bringing that down, you bring down your overhead costs. You obviously, definitely shore up the balance sheet that way. The other side of that is the demand. Why are you bringing down inventory? Because you're lacking demand. So it's a bit of this, a bit of that. We'll have to see the commentary.
Yeah, and seeing this drop actually reminded me of another earnings move that we watched on this desk in the market recap a couple months ago. That's Starbucks. Starbucks we know has recovered since, but they sold off quite viciously at earnings. And Starbucks also had some issues with China. I'm not seeing anything on Nike with China yet, but I think, could be an interesting name with regards to consumer demand in certain regions. Either way, I think this chart will definitely be one to watch tomorrow, and I really want to see what they say on that conference call and what analysts have to say about this move.
Absolutely, yeah. This is really interesting here. Here are some commentary, guys. Nike taking actions to reposition to be more competitive, drive sustainable profit, long-term growth. Here we go. Nike encouraged by progress. Q4 results highlighted challenges that have led up to the full year 2025 look. Driving better balance across portfolio, says one. Basically, some headlines coming in here. Nike misses quarterly revenue expectations on choppy demand for its sneakers, says this article, vis-a-vis Reuters, basically saying the company basically looking to streamline its portfolio before the sportswear company can revive demand as innovation and launch new product lines. So we'll keep you abreast, I guess, of any major headlines here for Nike, but I guess, not really to expect those, Adara, until the call at 5. Keeping an eye on a technical perspective here, much like we said, that area of $89 support holding on for now. So the question then, I guess, arises here. We don't have Danielle Shea on today, but we know she's a swing trader. So is this $89 level, given the daily support, a swing trade buy?
I mean, I guess we'll have to find out here. I think it'll be interesting. Again, not a swing trader, but I think it'll be more
Sure,
interesting
but let's
to...
talk about technicals. You're good with that.
Let's talk about technicals.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pull up this daily chart here. I think my thing with Nike, too, is I would rather, because, you know, earnings reactions are earnings reactions. They can be wild, they can be woolly, they can reverse in like a heartbeat, right? So I want to see what we do tonight after the conference call when the dust settles a little bit, right?
Agree.
Because I don't necessarily trust the initial reaction. We saw the initial reaction for Nike was here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah.
So I think once that settles, if we can hold the area that you're right was definitely interesting support, that 89, then I think it could maybe be a decent swing trade. But I would be very aware of this kind of chop and churn. You guys know I love ranges.
Oh, yeah.
If you look here, I'm going to get this little pointer out here. If you look at this 97-ish level, look at that support we had March 2024. Then that becomes resistance on a wick basis on the daily.
There you go.
Into June 7th. And then we get it again on June 24th. So to me, that would be an area of resistance to be aware of if you take this swing trade. It gives you only about $8 of wiggle room.
Yeah, well, there you go.
That's my take.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I'm legitimately thinking about this because, well, this is the thing. Fabian's reading it the way that, you know, I'm looking at it. You know, this $90 area, look, even when we did break down in the dark days of September of 2022, this is when the market bottomed, right? This was the market bottom, October, September of 2022. We all remember that. And here it is. And the worst it did at that time was 82 and a half. So, yeah, this is interesting. But, you know, again, I got to echo Adair's sentiment. I want to hear what happens after the call. The only question is it at 93? Is it at 94?
You're right, it might
on the
be
call, right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. So, anyway, this downward channel is what it is. And until you break out beyond this channel over here, Fabian, to be honest with you, it's lower lows and lower highs, Adair. Yeah. Hey, Nike deals, huh? Interesting. I don't remember any offhand. I'm sure the chat will definitely help me with that.
And they could mention things on, because I know a lot of people were saying, Sean was saying, like with regards to got the Olympics going on, that could be, maybe Nike will have something to say about that. That could be an interesting ongoing moment. You know, they'll be on screen for the 2 weeks that the Paris Olympics go on in July. So that could maybe be decent for exposure. But I think right now, that drop there, in terms of they both dropped over year, and they missed analyst estimates for revenue. So that's not a great look, along with that decrease in inventories. So we're going to have to wait and see how this goes on NKE. But right now, it looks like we are rejecting at that 90, trying to make lower lows.
All right. So here is what else is reporting today. And it's, you know, I don't want to say they're nothing burgers, but I don't want to disrespect them. But here's what's reporting after the market is Kura Sushi, Accolade, Dynags, Pinstripes Holding, American Outdoor, Culp, and those are basically it. I'm sure we probably have some of them out already. Anyway, if that's what else is coming out. You did send me some interesting stuff here, so I want to look at some of Danielle Shea's trades she was talking about last time. We obviously went over Micron Meta today. She is looking for $520 and $530 price target. And Adara, did you see what Meta did today? We're knocking on the door of that $520 because we closed out at, we're trading right now in the aftermarket anyway at $519.80, up 1 1/3.
Yeah, it's a great look. Yeah, I know Danielle Shea was very interested in that 520. If we get 520, then she'd be interested in 530. And yeah, I mean, pretty subdued earlier in today for Meta, but it definitely popped up into the close. That'll be interesting. She might get that price target like even tomorrow. I think a lot of these mega caps are at certain levels where they're very much ready to pop. Meta's near, I believe all-time highs are Meta near 531. So that could be interesting. And of course, we have Amazon near all-time highs, Tesla near back to 200. So there could be some interesting ones.
So it is late June. And late June, we get Supreme Court decisions.
We do.
We do, okay? And we got some today. Da-da-da-da. The U.S. Supreme, okay, what's going on with Meta Platforms? It's up 1 1/3. Why? Well, it won, it's one of its issues with the government. The U.S. Supreme Court declined on Wednesday to impose limits on the way President Joe Biden administration may communicate with social media platforms. The decision rejected a challenge made on the grounds of freedom of speech regarding how officials encourage the removal of posts. We all know about that section 130 or whatever section that is that protects social media platforms from liability about what other people post. So I don't know the extent of this decision, but it'll be interesting because I know that's been a running issue with this social media.
Yeah, right, in terms of what can be said, what can't be said. And yeah, you know, Meta, Snapchat will sometimes run in these kinds of stories, specifically Meta. So I think that'll certainly be an interesting look for META. Nice little catalyst there. It'll also be interesting. We know we have the DMA coming out there in Europe and the EU with going after Google and Apple. So it'll be interesting. I'm not sure if Meta will be impacted by this, but it is worth noting there are certainly some European, sorry, I don't know if it was, maybe it was Microsoft and Apple. I want to make sure I know the second Mag 7 company there that was mentioned there by the DMA. So I want to make sure I'm correct on that. But I think it'll certainly be an interesting look with regards, so it was at EU antitrust going after Microsoft and Apple. Right. That's what it was. But yeah, interesting look there. We'll have to see if Meta is impacted by that either.
Chinese ADRs got punched in the face today, sadly, metaphorically, obviously. But here is the chart on Pinduoduo, PDD, as it now wants to be called, Adara. And it absolutely got, it got in a lot of trouble today, really, because now it has to take on Amazon. And this is something that we talked about, I think, during the midday. And the thing is, Adara, Amazon has this reputation of being predatory with their competitors. Oh, yeah. I'm sure you know about this. And basically, what I heard here, I'm just obviously reiterating stories that I've read, was basically startups would go in, they'd meet with them, they'd be like, hey, here's my idea. And Amazon would just take their idea and would be like, sue us, and then lock them down in litigation for years. And so, like, I don't want to be against that kind of person. No. And these Chinese ADRs look like they're going to have to. And PDD, Adara, killed it last year and this year. This is the daily on PDD, and that's a hell of a recovery off the bottoms.
Yeah, that PDD off earnings as well. Like you saw, that was when I was trading a lot on the midday. That one, I know a lot of guys on the floor were trading as well when we were near 160s. Now we're near 130s on PDD. So bit of a decline since earnings, but you're right. That's a great chart. Generally looks like higher highs, higher lows off that bottom for PDD, but this could maybe push it lower because it is near those lows. So if we break below, make a lower low, we're gonna have to wait and see.
All right, let's look at some other Chinese ADRs. Guys, literally every single ADR on my watch list, for the exception of Jinko Solar, which was up 1 1/3, probably because of solar, just specifically everything on my ADR watch list in red. Baba down 2 1/3. PDD, as I just showed you, 4.5. Baidu, 1 1/5. JD5. Li Auto, the great Li Auto, 3%. XBEV, 6 1/3. NEO, 5. Zeekr, not Zeekr, 6 1/3. BYD also decidedly lower, to 2.8%. So yeah, really ADRs got destroyed today, and it's been a tough look for China lately anyway. It
really has been. And the thing was the XPeng too. That one was hit particularly hard. I saw that, especially in the pre-market. I couldn't find any story on that, but XPEV could be interesting with that big drop we had today in mind. They also got an upgrade earlier this week.
Good recovery today for crypto, back above 60,000 we go. For BTC, 61,350 we're trading at right now, up 2/3%. It was a good recovery for a lot of the names as well. MicroStrategy's chief among them, and Coinbase. Look at this chart on MicroStrategies. Obviously not a trading, an intraday stock, $1,500. You can see by the chart there, very light on volume, up into the 15 1/4 Adara. Coinbase as well, 4 1/4 in the clear. This one, obviously, more of a day trading stock. Decent. Mara, Riot, CleanSpark, except for Hut, they're all up on the day.
Well, Hut's also interesting because with Hut, we had, Hut 1, Hut 2, we had a price target increase from Canaccord Genuity, and we also had their inclusion in the Russell 3000. That's also not a bad price target increase from Canaccord Genuity, going from $14 to $22. So nice look there. But it's now 430.
Is it?
It is. Time flies when you're having fun.
I didn't even get the GameStop and Chewy. I was about to talk about the Catman. All right, here it is, GameStop, baby. Let's finish off with this one. 24.20 is where we closed off. We all saw the midday move. It popped into 26.69 Adara. Lower lows, lower highs. It basically consolidated lower and did break VWAP, closing out at about 24.90, below 25 a little bit.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait and see what happens here. We're going to have to do our roll call as well, because we always have to end the show with a roll call, so we're going to do that. I'll start here with two that I think are interesting here. DJK saying, reminder, tomorrow is quarter end. Crazy that this is going to be our last trading day of June, last trading day of Q2, and also, like, literally the second half of the year. I just want to shout out Bears versus Bulls, Catmandu. Play on words in Catmandu. Shout out to Bears versus Bulls for everything you do. But now it's roll call time. Let's get it, Sharif.
All right, baby, let's go. Who wants their name? Sean, James, my man, RJ McFly. We got 4 lads. We got the OG. We got money. Gee, we got to show it. All right, let's go. Let's bring it in on the side chart here. Okay, there we go. We got Chris Pluckett, my man, Doug Noss. Are you related to the Noss boss? RJ McFly, Christian Knowlton. We got TH and Fun Bubble, my man Fun Bubble. Who else? We got Hope and Victory. I love that name. That is a respectable name right there. ANS. We got Josh, Lila, Sebastian, Dave Clark. Shout out to you. Lionel Martinez, as well as Gaurav. My man Gaurav, you're doing overtime, Gaurav. Attaboy. Nomer. We got Nomer as well. We got Henrik. We got Mani, Sebastian, and Apple and Raisin Pancake, baby. Anurag. Yes, sir. Anurag. Love the effort. And GRL Trader, Noah, RJ, and Chef Joe. Guys, we shall see you tomorrow. Make sure to join Adair and I on the midday and be here for the morning recap.
What a day.
I'll see you guys.